That's it. Cool. The button came on really quickly there to say we're live. Today is Tuesday, the 30th of October, 2018. On the panel, obviously, is our Astral, our Patricia. We have Nicolas, and we have Martin Kenny.
Hello.
Hi there, everyone. Hi there.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Hi, Martin. Welcome back again, brother. Hi, Karen, Patricia.
Hello, hello, hello.
Vedic,
Hello,
Viking.
everyone. Good to be back.
Yeah. Yes, we were just saying before you came live that you're very busy at the moment. That we may as well just start with that. I know that you've been talking about it a lot, but you've got your cosmic clock universal disclosure happening in December. I'm sorry, what's that person? Norb, what's his name? Norb?
Norb Czufis.
That's it. You can say that word.
Yeah.
It's a very nice video. Obviously, I mirrored it. You said people could mirror it, but it's a very nice intro video, isn't it? You spent a lot of time on that.
Yeah, well, I didn't. Norb did. I obviously did the presentation, the 3-hour presentation on the cosmic clock, on my channel and on Sage of Quay with Mike Williams. And I sent the document or the research document that I was doing on the cosmic clock to Norb, just for him to have a look. He read through it. It's about an 80-page document. So he read through the whole document, got back in touch with me within a few days and said, I really, really would like to make an animation or something along those lines of this information in a, something exciting to present it rather than a 3-hour lecture. So something different. So I said, yeah, I welcome that. Let's do it. And we've just sort of been in the flow, I suppose, since then. That was about 2 weeks ago.
Cool. And so could you, obviously you're not going to explain too much, are you? Because it's not happening till December, but could you explain a little bit about what's happening then with this get together, this big video?
Well, I don't know. Are you familiar with the stuff that Norb does? He's kind of...
Yeah.
He did that Norb theory on the cosmic egg, didn't he? His own take on the cosmic egg.
Yeah,
so
he said
he's
he was a student of yours in the video.
Hey?
He said he was a student of yours in the video.
Yeah, I mean, he did a cosmic egg one. Did you not see it? The Norb theory, he called it.
I'm not sure if I saw his one, sorry.
Ah, right. Okay. So yeah, so about 8 months ago, I did the cosmic egg presentation.
Yeah.
He took that presentation and he made a 3D sort of model of it, if you like.
A computer graphic.
Yeah, computer.
It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. He's done an amazing job there. Me and Nicolas were just saying before, it's just brilliant.
Yeah. So he's going to do exactly the same thing, but I think even better with the cosmic clock.
Wow.
In a nutshell.
I look forward to that.
Yeah. So do I. So do I. I've seen some of the previews as he's been doing them, and I've been blown away. I mean, he's super talented. He really is. He really, really is. So the idea is trying to condense that 3-hour presentation I did on the cosmic clock into like an hour and a half in an exciting, engaging way. That's the idea behind it.
And obviously you've been quite recognized for your cosmic egg now, aren't you?
Yeah, I think so. Something different, isn't it? I mean, like we're always saying, we're all trying to figure out what all of this is. Where are we? How does this work? We're all asking all these questions.
Yeah, it's just those words. It's who are we, where are we, and where are we going?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. So I think, well, not everyone's asking those questions, but those of us that are interested in moving forward, we're at least asking the questions and bringing forth our own theories. I know there's a hollow earth theory out there. There's that Pac-Man square earth theory. And I think it's good for people to question and for people to push the boat out and bring forth theories as to, where exactly are we? How does all this work? What's going on? How did we get here? And just answer as many questions about this reality as we can.
And of course, what is it you've put on the bottom? We're in the age of Aquarius.
Yes, we are. We are. Yeah, in a nutshell. They're obviously, like we have different cycles of time, during the day, during the week, during the month, during the year. We've got the 4 times of the day, the 4 seasons in a year. That system of time does not just end with lunar seasons and solar seasons. It goes further into the cosmos, into astrological seasons, which the ancient Vedics called the Yuga ages, the 4 Yuga ages. So that'll be the Silver Age, the Gold Age, the Silver Age, the Bronze Age, and the Iron Age. And these are big scales of cosmic time. So I did a bit of research, not a bit, a lot of research on that, trying to decode what all that means, how it fits into our reality, how can it possibly fit in on the flat Earth model that I have, and is there any way of decoding how time works on a cosmic level, levels that we cannot measure?
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yep.
This about the ages. It's been said that this is because we're living in a binary system. Sirius and when these 2 stars, we're in the middle of these two eclipses, aren't we? You know what I'm saying? What's the 2 stars called now?
Sirius A and Sirius B.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so we've got this what they call the red shift and the blue shift. One's shining red, and then it'll switch when it changes position, because we're in a binary system. They're saying
absolutely.
So we've got the red one time, one season, or one era, epoch, whatever it is you say, an age, and then the next one will be the blue one, and then it'll change again to the red one. So is your take on that the same, that when the 2 stars are furthest away, that's when we are in our, the dark ages? When the 2 stars are the closest, that's when we're in our golden age? Sorry to interrupt you there, Martin.
Yeah. That's a really good point, and I think that's definitely worth syncretizing, because the heliocentric model explains precessions that way, that we're in a binary system, and the ages or the precessions of these ages are determined by how far away or close the Earth is as it's spinning in that binary system. So if we're trying to syncretize that into a flat Earth model, then we switch over the Earth spinning to the sun spinning. So I think what it means is when our sun is transitioning during the equinoxes, the winter the summer equinoxes, on the equinox, when it's transitioning on the equinox, the constellation that is in between those 2 star systems, Sirius A and Sirius B, is the age that we're in. Does that make sense? Hello?
I'm here. Sorry, I couldn't unmute.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. So basically, in a nutshell, in the heavens, there's a clock, and that clock is what we call the zodiac system. So the 12 zodiacs are the 12 hours of cosmic time. Does that make sense? So imagine you're looking up in the skies and you see a circular clock going above the circular disk of the Earth, and the 12-hour mark is Aries. Aries is the first sign, so that's 12 o'clock. And then as you get to the next one, it's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, going all the way around on the clock in the skies.
Yeah, every 15 degrees.
Is it 15 degrees? Yeah. 30 degrees.
30.
Is it 15 or 30?
Well, we have an hour, don't we?
One of them. But anyway, as that zodiac is spinning in the sky, it spins very slowly, like you're saying, a degree every year, whatever it is. And after 2,100 years or so, the clock changes an hour. And this is what we call the zodiac ages.
Right.
Yeah, that slippage, isn't it? No, I'm not being an expert in this, but every 72 years. Does it slip 1 degree? Is that correct?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, it does. It does. And that's why we have leap years to try and make up for that. In actual fact, our dating, our calendar system is very, very wrong. We shouldn't have to be correcting it.
Actually, someone in the chat room, Mr. Mentz, has put 30 degrees, 12 times 30 is 360.
Beautiful. Yes, 30 degrees. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're doing time, aren't we?
Hey?
It's time, isn't it? If it's time, then 12 times 60.
It's not, it's 12 times 30.
No, but I wanted to get the 720, whatever that. Oh, sorry, I'm interrupting. Carry on, Martin, please.
Yeah, you interrupt, Astral, you do. Carry on, Martin.
Where was I? So every time the constellations change an hour every 2,000 years, that is when a certain energy is sent to Earth, if you like. A certain frequency is sent to Earth, a collective frequency. And that collective frequency helps humanity and all the other races in all the other realms shift into a different time of the day, cosmic day, that is.
Right.
And that's what the zodiac ages are. But these zodiac ages are not set timelines. They're not predetermined set protocols. They are guidelines. So they have what they call qualities to them. So for instance, the age of Aquarius, its qualities are truth. Its qualities are coming together. It's a stubborn sign. It's a sign of rebellion. It's a sign of information. It's a sign of knowledge. It's a sign of mixing. It's a sign of air. So all things associated with those words are the things that will manifest in this reality during the next 2,000 years of this age. But what those things of manifestation are can either be good or bad. That is what is determined by us, the people. How do we use that energy to create this reality? And this is why they say knowledge is power. So if the elites know what age we're in and what energy that age gives humanity, they can create a paradigm or reality for us without our consent because they understand the energy in the universe at that time.
Of course.
And that's all it is. That's all it is. It's all about understanding energy. In the same way, the best way to put it is, if you went to a village out in South America or Africa or wherever in the world, and these people didn't know anything about how seasons work, like summer, winter, autumn, and spring, right? And they're trying to grow their vegetables, but they're growing the wrong vegetables in the wrong seasons. And the vegetables never grow. There's never a harvest. And they're almost starving to death. And then you come along and you understand that, no, guys, you're doing this all wrong. You can't grow tomatoes in the winter. Right? You're growing tomatoes at the wrong time of the season. This is why they're not growing. If you wanted to grow, you need to grow this vegetable during this season. Right?
Right.
Now, if you want to be a controller or an elite, you don't tell them that. What do? You secretly grow the vegetables, then you sell it to them. And they say, why is it always Martin's vegetables are growing and ours never grow? It's because I understand how to work with the season of that time. I know what fertilizers to use. I know what compost to use. I know, how the rain patterns are. So my produce is likely to be better than anyone who doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
That is all it is. It's all about manipulating energy.
Well, which they've been doing to us since time as far back as we can.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it was the billionaire. What's his name? Morgan. What's his name? JP Morgan. Who said in an interview that millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do. Right? If you want to be a billionaire, you need an astrologer. Right? And he's not the first to say that. All the old kings all had astrologers. Every single past king, if you look at any history books, they all had astrologers. And there's a reason for that, because when you know astrology and you know how cosmic time and cosmic seasons work, you can literally predict the future. You can literally preempt things in the future, because you know what season you're entering. You know, if you do certain things during that season, you'll get a certain reaction, cause and effect, all those universal laws and all that.
I was talking earlier, or before you came on, Martin, with Nicolas about the stars. And, well, in all reality, the stars, that what we see above us is our only true indication of where we actually are.
Beautiful. Absolutely.
Yeah, also in relation to our calendar as well, in a sense of time, it's all time, isn't it? Seasons.
Yep.
Where we are as well.
Yeah, and that is the only clock. And unfortunately, unfortunately, the elites of this world have disconnected us from being able to control our reality by teaching us, or by trying to manipulate us not to know the importance of being able to read the stars. Right? So we're all here looking at calendars on our phones, in our books, looking at the time in our phones and our books. All that is man-made. It's all fake. It's all fake construct. The only true time is the time of the celestial bodies. When you understand astrology, then you understand how true time works, real time. Not this fake construct time that we're given. Real time is determined by the sun. The sun tells us when it's daytime and when it's nighttime. The sun tells us when it's harvest and when it's time to reap and when it's time to sow. The sun tells us when it's time when it's winter, when it's summer, when it's autumn. The sun does that, right?
It tells us
likely the stars do the same thing energetically. The stars tell us when it's time to do certain things, when it's time to eat meat and it's time not to eat meat, when it's time to use money and it's time not to use money, when it's time to, all these things, they're all determined by the stars, and we have to be able to respond and react to the celestial time that God or the creator, whatever you want to call that force, has put in place to guide us through reality, through life.
Can I just say something? Obviously, you look really cozy sitting there. But Caroline from the chat room said, could you ask Martin if he could show us the cosmic clock chart while he's talking?
Yeah, of course I can.
There you go, Caroline. Your wish is done. And shout out to the chat room while he's doing that. Jason's there, Nimble Horse, CD, Astral, Reclaim the Plains, Stack, Mr. Mensa. I saw James.
I do have a question for you in a minute, Martin.
Yeah, sure.
Zora.
You can ask me now while I'm sitting up.
Well, I'm kind of curious, when you say that in 2020, these tourist fields, or what you say might be the Van Allen belts, sort of dropping down for a period of time.
Yeah.
And the fact that then all of the realms are open. How do all the different? I mean, that's quite an interest. That could be quite an interesting scenario.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Especially if timelines are very different from one another. That could be a very interesting mix of different types of people at different times of maybe, it's kind of blows me away really to think about that really.
I think the elites of this world have
how would the governments control that in each realm? Do you see what I mean? So the governments here, the governments in the other realms, are our governments in colludes with these other realms? Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. The short answer is yes. This is what we call.
I sort of went through the whole UFO thing in the 90s, so I think a lot of the truths that were coming out then are probably actually related to this somehow.
Definitely.
Seeing as space doesn't exist as we know it.
Definitely, yeah. Upper space doesn't exist. Outer space does.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly. The space outside the space we're in now, but upper space does not exist. There's no space upwards. There's space.
So basically, I mean, I really do sort of resonate more with that. With more land, you know, I personally think a creator would create infinite land for people to discover things. It's just that we've been trapped on this ridiculous farm for a while.
Yes.
But I just find it very interesting to sort of try and wrap my head around the thought of, okay, say, for example, 2020, this does happen.
Yeah.
And these different realms are suddenly open to each other.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be, whoa, that could be insane, really. If the technology, say if these realms are beyond Antarctica or whatever, you know, the technology they may have could be way ahead. You know, come on in and here we go. Oh my, you know.
Yeah, but I think it could be less dramatic than that. The powers that be, they they definitely don't want the masses to know about these extraterrestrial realms, because then the prison system falls to pieces.
Sure.
Because people have choice. So I think everything they've done up to this point, including things like chemtrails, things like confusing truth with fake news, if you like, fake information, fake truth, whatever you want to call it. They're doing all those things to divide and conquer and cause confusion. And I think all of that is going to peak in 2020. So in 2020, when these torus fields open up, I guarantee you, most people in the world will not even know that the torus fields are opening up.
Sure.
Right? There'll be chemtrails in the sky. They'll probably crash world economies at that time. So people will be too busy trying to survive, trying to feed your family. You really won't be looking up in the skies and caring about what's happening in the skies. Right? So they will probably crash the economy. They'll create a lot of chaos here on Earth. So everyone is focused on Earth. What's happening here on Earth?
Yeah.
No one is worried about what's happening in the skies. At the same time, they'll put chemtrails in the skies. So even when the torus fields do open up, we will just see this black, big, gray aerosol veil like we've been seeing. So I think chemtrails are basically predictive programming.
Well, I think so, because we've seen that in the past, even in artwork from the 16th century, there are these paintings depicting what look very much like chemtrails in the sky before events.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah. And that's what it is. So as much as you're saying it's going to be devastating and traumatic and amazing, it'll be amazing for those who know what's going on. For most people, it will just be a chaotic time. Like, what on earth is happening? Trump's been assassinated. The dollar's collapsed. The pound's collapsed. You know, there's no food in shops. What's going on? You know, craziness. We might get a fake alien invasion.
Yeah,
right.
Project Blue Beam or whatever.
Project Blue Beam and all that. And all of that will be to hide the event, first of all, which only happens during a small window, according to my research. Probably about 7 days.
Okay.
And when that opening of the torus field ends after 7 days, that is when they will now bring in the new world order. They'll say, right, guys, look, we've just been invaded by aliens. You know, look, the economy crashed. You know, the human race was so divided. Maybe we should all now come together, work as one. Let's have one religion, because all these religions, we almost came to a world war because the Muslims and the Christians, you nearly killed each other during this moment of chaos. So let's all come together. Let's have one religion. Let's have one government. Let's have one currency. So we'd never have a crash like this, a global crash again. And if you have one currency, you know, we can't have a global crash. And of course, the masses, most people will be like, absolutely, yes, let's do it.
Yeah.
And that is how they'll do it. So it's called problem, reaction, solution. They use it all the time.
Hegelian dialectic.
That's it. Absolutely.
Hey, Martin, they'll be even saying free money for everyone who signs up, you know.
Yes.
Free money, free housing. You get a free hovermobile or free car. Yeah, free phone. Yeah, for sure. With a good plan on it as well.
Lovely.
Absolutely. The best way to think of it is the universe has got seasons, like we said, the age of Aquarius, and there are higher powers, higher beings. Let's call them the Polarians, who live right at the center. These are the guardians of the galaxy, and they make sure that all the different realms are are doing things according to the right energies and at the right times, that things don't get out of hand. But they cannot directly interfere with our progress as a race. Free choice. We have free choice. So these powers that be, these elites, they know they can't force us into a new age. They know that the universe has said we have to shift into a new age. The season's changing. So the elites can't change that. They have no control over that. They also can't change the fact that the season is changing. Our consciousness is rising. We're waking up. What they can do is manipulate the situation for the outcome to work in their favor.
Yeah.
So we consent without knowing that we're consenting.
Yeah.
So it's a false paradigm. It's a false choice. They're giving you choice, but they're not really giving you choice. They're not telling you the real choice.
Isn't it? They're only giving you the choice they want you to have, not
Absolutely.
not
Yes. Yes. And that's what it is. It's all psychological mind games. That's all it comes down to. It's all psychological mind games. But in the same token, in the same breath, it's also worth mentioning that because we've been in the Iron Age as a species, or as a race, not species, as a race in this realm, most of us, most beings in this realm, we are still babies consciously, right? The average Joe on the street is consciously still a baby.
Oh,
Right?
man.
They still need to be spoon-fed. Yeah, they still need to be spoon-fed. They still need to be shown and told what to do and where to be. They still need that. They need it.
You know,
Yeah.
Matt, I would like to go even further than that, and this would be quite funny as well. They're even further away than that. They're just still steady spunk bubbles, aren't they?
Absolutely.
They've not even
Yeah.
they've not developed properly or anything yet.
Yep.
Sorry.
No, it's true. It's so bizarre.
Some of them are cowards because they've been given the truth or seen the truth or heard it and they don't want to know, and they carry on in under all the other things, and they've been told, so they're actual cowards. But anyway, carry on.
Well, I wouldn't say they're cowards. They're just spiritually immature. It's like having
Spiritually unaware.
a 2-year-old child. It's like having a 2-year-old child and saying to that child, don't put your fingers in the socket. You're going to get electrocuted. Or don't put your fingers in the fire. Now, that child is probably not going to listen to you or believe you until a few times of being burnt. Because it's a child. That child is not conscious, is not ready to process that information. So most people, when you tell them stuff, it's not because they're cowards or they're idiots or they're stupid. It's because consciously, on a spiritual level, on an energy level, they're babies. They can't comprehend what you're trying to tell them. You're a little bit more mature than them spiritually.
It's like that example someone's just recently done as well. A gorilla running into a mirror in the jungle. Yeah. And it's like, when do we become aware of our reflection as opposed to when do we become aware of ourselves?
Yeah.
You know? Absolutely. Yeah. Brilliant analogy. Brilliant. But again, there's a time and there's a season for everything under the skies. There's a time and a season for everything. For people like us that are awake, that are ahead of the season, but not in any direct control of being able to influence the collective, it's the most painful time. For old souls like you, it's painful because we can see the reality of what it is, but we can't do anything about it.
No.
But we can see. So we're just waiting for things to play out consciously. Right? What you don't know doesn't harm you. So the guy next door here who reads the news, who lives in the Matrix, who doesn't know any better, as far as he's concerned, life is good.
Yeah.
Right? There's nothing wrong with the world. For myself, who's awake.
Yeah, for us lot.
Yeah.
Funny.
Martin, I can't remember who it was in the chat now, asked you to show us your chart behind you there. Is there any chance that you could give us a little run through, maybe, possibly, brother? That would be awesome if you could.
Yeah, so basically, this clock represents it's a reflection of our Earth, the discs on Earth. So this central bit would be what we call Mount Meru. In fact, I'll show you on the... Right? So that's the disc of, that's the Earth, the different concentric rings of land. You've got Mount Zion. This is where the Olympians I was telling you about, pole position. The Polarians live, the guardians of the universe, the angels, the Das avatars, the Pleiadians, if you like. They are the ones that live here, the original beings, the master root race. The realm outside this vortex at the center, or this realm, is what we commonly call Eden now. The Garden of Eden is the first realm. They've got their own ice wall, and this is where we are. We are Atlantis. We're the second one from pole position. We're in second place in the race, if you like. Then you've got the Lemurians on the outside, sometimes known as the reptilians in esoteric circles. And then outside that, you've got the Hyperboreans, sometimes known as the Anunnaki. Okay? Now these, someone mentioned earlier on that are we in, or someone said, are we in contact with some of these different races? And the answer is yes. This is where you hear terms like the hidden hand. Right? We also say the hidden hand in government, the shadow government, right? The government behind the veil, piercing the veil. The veil is this electromagnetic torus field blocking us out from these other races. That's the veil. The shadow government is the government on the shadow, in our shadows, outside us. They're shadowing what we're doing. That's the hidden hand. The hand is not direct, it's hidden outside us. Right? So this clock is basically a mirror reflection of this, but showing you how time works in these different realms at different stages and at different seasons. Okay? So this represents the yin and yang. This would be Mount Meru. This would be the core center where these Polarians are. This disc over here would be the Aryan realm, the current Garden of Eden. The beings that live here are called Aryans, Aryan beings. Okay? These are the extraterrestrial beings that live here. This ring is our ring. We are all called Atlanteans in this realm. All of us. Every human in this realm is an Atlantean. 99.6% DNA is Atlantean for every being. And then there's 0.4% of a little bit of everything else. Okay? The realm on the outside, they are the Lemurians, the reptilians, like we said. Right? And then you've got the Hyperboreans. This is this wheel over here. Okay? Where do you want me to go from there?
I'd like to know, Martin, it's like you're 31 years old or something. How many years have you been doing this, brother? Because it's like, so deep about, all this, what you've put together. I mean, I've seen your presentations before, but interesting.
I'm 34. I've been looking at this full time for 2 years, and I mean that full time. Like this is my
son, Martin.
Sorry?
One of my sons is 34, same age as my son.
Oh, there you go then. Wow, really?
Yeah.
Well, you're doing really well. You don't look like you've got a 34-year-old son.
Oh, thank you. I feel quite old today, I have to say, but yeah, thank you. But anyway, I think what he's saying is that you're so detailed, in a sense, you've done so much in the last couple of years, really, haven't you? That's what he's saying.
Yeah, I mean, I've put everything into this, and when I began this journey about 2.5 years ago, when I first woke up, and flat Earth was my trigger, like most people, was the thing that really triggered my awakening. Like, right, I really need to start asking questions. It became an obsession for me. It's almost like I was literally sleeping and waiting for something to wake me up. And when that trigger woke me up, it began this journey of trying to find out as much as I could about this reality. So even as a child, I was always skeptical about everything. Like, nothing really makes sense. Why is it, no one really knows anything about anything. Everyone's just theorizing about everything. What are the stars? What is the sun? I know we
I think
talk
a lot
about
of us felt like that.
yeah, nothing really ever made sense. You know, I grew up in a Christian family. The whole Christian stuff, just there were too many things that didn't make sense. Who created God? What is God? What does God look like? And you're told, oh, you can't ask those questions. And I always used to say, well, why? Why can't I know what God looks like physically? If there is a God sitting on the throne in a place somewhere, where is this place?
Yeah.
So I grew up in a state of confusion all my life. And then at the age of 32, I watched a video, Flat Earth, triggered something, and my journey began. And then I was like, right, it's quite obvious that, you know, we don't know anything. And I'm either going to accept that I don't know anything and wait to die, or I'm going to try and find out as much as I can about everything before I die. Because one thing's for sure, I am going to die. So that's something that I knew that, you know, one day I will die. That is just, you know. So do I die saying I don't know what?
Hey? So I was to say, when you wake up, you feel like you want to do something. You know,
I want to do something. Yeah, I want to do something before this body expires. And when that body expires, can I at least find out what happens beyond that? You know, is there something beyond the expiration of this body? Is there something within me? You know, what is a soul? You know, are we alone in the universe? If the earth is flat, how do extraterrestrials and aliens come into this? Do they exist? You know, all the ancient cultures, and the Bible even talks about these beings. Where are these beings? Angels. Where are angels then? Right? So all these questions were in my mind. And instead of just sitting on my laurels, I said, I'm going to try and find out. And I spent the last 2 years of my life in this room. I'm going to pan down the room. This is my research center. And I pretty much spend my life here researching.
Nice. Nice to have some space to do that.
I thought it was either a gym or a, you know, one of those practice rooms for a pole dancer.
I'm not that exciting, I'm afraid. Sorry.
I'm pretty sure. Martin,
we're all excited. The chat room are loving this.
I'm going to say, I'm pretty sure you could get some more subs if you just took your jacket off and gave us a little swirl around with that pole there.
Hey, behave.
Astral.
He's kinky, isn't he, Astro?
I'm just being having a laugh, that's all. Hey, it's just so interesting, all this stuff. Like, you know, I'd love to have a big map of that you've got behind you. Actually,
it's interesting. You know, the question that you asked is a question I've often asked myself. Like, you know, for me, when I started doing this, I was getting into a state of meditation, if you like, but I wasn't actively meditating. So I'd sit down and I'll be thinking about things. Maybe I was sitting in the sun and I'll just be thinking, what if this and what if that, what if this? Then I'll get what I thought were ideas in my head as an idea. Oh, what if there are more realms behind the ice wall? What if that's where all the different races on Earth came from? Different races beyond the ice wall. Just brainstorming, as people say. And then I was writing down these ideas in a journal, if you like, just as ideas, without doing research. And then after about a few months of doing that, brainstorming, writing ideas, this is before the cosmic egg. What if we live in an egg? Because everything comes from an egg. So I'll draw an egg and I'll say, what if the Earth is the plate inside the egg? These were just stuff in my head. And then I started researching and saying, right, is there anything out there that can link with these thoughts that I'm having? And this is when my life really, really, you know, this is when everything got blown out of the water, because the more I started researching, I was like, oh my God, I'm not the only one who's had these ideas or these theories or these thoughts. Many ancient cultures talked about these things, all these different ages, the cosmic egg, all these things I thought were just ideas in my head are not new. They're not unique to me. There's loads of literature explaining the things that I've just come up with in my head. So I thought to myself, well, that can't be coincidence. It cannot be coincidence that I've come up with these ideas in my head, but they're also corroborating with ancient cultures, with bits of conspiracy theories out there about extraterrestrials, about all these other different things. It's all coming together. So when I saw that link coming together of my ideas that I thought were my ideas and all these other things that were out there, that's when I really started taking this seriously and saying, I think there's a lot more going on here than meets the eye. This is a lot deeper than just theorizing. So for me, this is more than theory. I am pretty sure of this because it'd be a very big coincidence for me to come up with this as an idea, and it's also corroborating with ancient mythologies and ancient cultures and ancient folklore. For me, it's too much of a coincidence. The dates might be wrong, the timelines might be wrong, so the actual details might be wrong, but I think the overriding blueprint, I think, is pretty close to the truth, I think.
Could you explain a little bit about the chart that we're looking at?
This one?
Yeah.
So, where do you want me to start, Karen? There's so much.
Is everything is there? Everything's in there.
Is there anyone in the chat room who's got a question? Because I've already done a 3-hour presentation about this, and it kind of feels pointless repeating what I've already done. But if there are questions, if anyone has questions or things they're not sure about, maybe this would be a good platform to address those questions.
Okay, it'll take a couple of seconds if the chat room. Nicolas, do you have any more questions to ask Martin while we're waiting?
Well, I'm always just really intrigued about the interaction, you know, when these sort of fields drop, you know. I just find it, yeah, intriguing. I don't know how to word it really. So that NASA, you know, with all the fake stuff that they're showing us, everything's just so obviously wrong. And yet they're preparing a space force to maybe go through one of these, to these different areas. But if they're interacting with these people or whoever it is outside of this area, aren't there ways for them to get in and out anyway?
That's a good question. So they're not in interaction with the beings at the center. That's for sure. Because the beings at the center are at a higher vibration than the elites.
Well, that kind of makes sense. They probably resonate more with the you know, the dodgy guys down below.
Dodgy guys down below, yeah, down and out. Yeah. So they've definitely been in cahoots with these other outer realms. This realm of Saturn, the Saturnians, Satanism. That's where all that comes in.
See, I think that they're I mean, I personally think that they're getting in and out when they want, especially the royal bloodline elites for sure must be getting in and out somehow.
Yeah, there might be. I think there are underground tunnels.
Yeah.
Underground tunnels. I don't think we can get through the actual electromagnetic field.
Maglev trains and all that.
Yeah, so I think there are like tunnels and underground trains and whatever you want to call it, going out to these outer realms to some extent. So I think there is back and forth that has been happening between the highest elites.
See, I think that's a lot of that steps leaks into the whole ufology aspect. You know, if you get stuck in the whole UFO world, you know about all of the underground trains that are apparently running and all these different things. It's really interesting that it seems to tie in much more with flat Earth, to me anyway.
Well, here's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Adolf Hitler.
Yeah.
Right? We know he was obsessed with UFOs.
Yeah.
He was obsessed with extraterrestrials. Right? He was obsessed with that. He was obsessed with this thing of the Aryan beings, the Aryans, wanting to be like the Aryans. He was obsessed with that. Right? Now, we all know that, well, we don't know, but many people will know that Hitler was said to have last been seen where? Does anyone know where he was last seen? What country?
Was it Brazil?
Close. Argentina.
Okay.
I was going to say Argentina.
So if you look at the azimuthal equidistant map, Argentina is the closest to the Antarctica.
Yeah.
I've got a proper one behind you there. Right? He was last seen here in Argentina.
Yeah.
So that tells me, I think he went over.
Can I ask you, Martin, without sounding arrogant, who was the last person who saw him?
I don't know. That is all. That's rumor, right? That's all rumor. That's the rumor. The rumor is he was last seen in Argentina. So I'm just going by rumor. I'm not saying it's fact, but I'm saying if there's any truth to that rumor, it would make sense why he would have been in Argentina, because Argentina is the closest, according to the AE map, the closest landmass to the Antarctic Circle.
Gives a theory, yeah. Gives a theory.
Yeah, it's a theory. It's not a fact, obviously. I've got no proof to factually prove it. But as far as theories go and connecting the dots, that theory makes a lot more sense to me.
Martin, the questions are starting to come in the chat room. Irk wanted to know, what are the colour differences in the stars mean?
Wow, that's a good question. I don't know.
On your chart.
I was going to say on your chart,
one?
yeah. The red,
all right.
the red,
I think
the red
the actual
ones as well.
stars in the sky. Okay. So these stars represent the different Yuga ages, what they call the Yuga ages. Okay. So there are 4 Yuga ages in our universe. There's the Iron Age, the Bronze Age, the Silver Age, and the Gold Age. Okay. And each of these realms individually go through one of these ages at any given space or time. And each of these ages are 3,000 years long each. Okay? So the realm at the center, right? During this epoch, this whole thing is called an epoch. This whole cycle is called an epoch, and it's 24,000 years long, like the 24-hour clock. Okay? So at this point, at 12 o'clock, when this epoch began, the Aryans at the center, they began with the Iron Age, because everything always spirals from the center going outwards. So they began in the Iron Age. They were in the Iron Age for 3,000 years, and this is the story of Avatar. That's the allegory they're trying to tell us there. That's the story of the Aryans during their Iron Age, near the Tree of Life. Okay? After 3,000 years, they shifted into the Bronze Age. This is where they've been, these Aryans at the center, these Aryan beings. They've been in the Bronze Age for the last 3,000 years. This is the line where we are right now. This line is 2020. So 2020 will be along this line. Now, we were in the old golden age when this Iron Age began, but it was the golden age of the last epoch. So time ripples from the center, like I said. The Aryans with a new realm created. They start off the Aryan epoch with the Aryan Iron Age. After 3,000 years, the spiral energy came out to us, and we began our Iron Age here. This is when the flood happened, the reset for us. This is when everything reset in this realm. Everything of the old was washed away. All the old information, old knowledge was completely washed away. We had to begin a new Aryan Iron Age, or Aryan Iron Epoch. Right?
So they're using some of the right words when they're telling us. They're just not telling us the truth about what it all really means.
Absolutely. But you've got to try and put it all in the right order and in the right. But I'm sure you're recognizing a lot of the words that I'm using. Madame Blavatsky, yeah. She's a really good reference for this. She talks about this a lot. Manly P. Hall is another one. Yeah. If anyone listens to his stuff, if you listen to his stuff and have this in mind, you'll start to see what he's talking about.
Totally. That's when I saw your chart, I just thought it kind of blew me away, because it's connected with so many people that have tuned into it, you know. So many different ways.
People, Madame Blavatsky, Carl Jung is another one. If you listen to his stuff, he's also talking about similar things.
Yeah.
Are you listening to Jordan Maxwell as well?
Yeah, Jordan Maxwell. Yeah, definitely. Another good reference. So I think a lot of the truthers out there, even David Icke, I know people say he's a shill or whatever, but if you listen to him, a lot of the stuff he's saying is very similar to this. Yeah.
So I bought a few of his books.
Yeah. So it's about listening and taking everything with a pinch of salt and trying to connect the dots and saying who's saying what, what's matching where, how does it all fit in. And all I'm doing is trying to take all those pieces of information and trying to put them in a sensible and logical way that makes sense, at least. If it's wrong, it's wrong. But to me, this makes sense.
Absolutely.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
This started me a long time ago. Synchronicities.
Yeah.
That I was seeing synchronicities and thinking, well, that's just so strange. How can that be? And then, yeah, it's totally random. You know, it got me thinking. Back when I was a child, like, you know, I used to think, how can that be? It's just out of nowhere, totally out of nowhere. You know, and I disbelieved it. I think that's probably where my quest began a long time ago. But all of these synchronicities, things that you see and the things that you can read in books, especially like with astral theology, for example, you know, and where we take most of stories from for books, you know.
Yeah.
Stories are just looking into the stars, you know, look, Alice in Wonderland or whatever it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you see, we're so discouraged from pursuing those thoughts, which are not thoughts, they're memories. What you're calling these thoughts that you are having, they're not thoughts, they're memories. Your soul was trying to remember stuff that you already know, right? So you see in a lot of movies, they talk about these Harry Potter, I think it is, Black Tower. Is it Black Tower or the recent movie with Idris Elba? What's it called? Whatever it's called. But they always talk about these children who have imaginations, and your imagination can unlock the universe or can unlock doors, the wardrobe, Narnia, right? So they're kind of telling you that when you have a thought, what you think you're imagining is the truth. You need to cultivate and take that thought further and plant that seed and water it and see where that thought is going to take you, because that thought is trying to lead you to a truth. But you were told from a young age, we're programmed as children, oh, you've got too much of an imagination. I used to be told by my parents all the time, you live in the clouds, get real, get back to earth. You're always talking this fairy stuff.
Can I just say that there's a couple of more questions very quickly. Brandon in the chat room, he just said he wants to in, although I think I mentioned it when we started, because obviously you put it in your presentation. And then hang on a second, where are we? Oh, Astro King says, ask Martin, does he know the time before Venus in our history?
The time before?
Venus.
Yes, the time before Venus would have been during the Hyperborean age, in essence, or during the Lemurian age. So after every 24,000 years, a new realm is birthed with a new root race. That's what you call a pole shift, right? So every 24,000 years, the universe has a pole shift. And pole shift means a new realm, a new Eden is created, seeded from the center, right? And a new root race of beings is also seeded with that realm. So the first realm to be seeded was the Hyperborean race. And Saturn was the first sun, right? And Jupiter was the first moon. That's why Saturn is known as Father Time, Father Chronos, chronology, because time began with Saturn in the Hyperborean realm, the Saturnian realm. Jupiter is known mythologically as Mother Rhea. And the root word for area, or the root word that comes out of Rhea, is area. So that's space. So Saturn and Jupiter were the first space and time. The Hyperboreans were the first matter. This is the beginning of space, time, and matter on the Earth. Right? That realm of Saturn and Jupiter in the Hyperborean realm They went through 24,000 years, a cosmic hour or cosmic day. And when they reached the 24-hour mark, there was a pole shift and they were pushed out from the center, right? They were no longer the Garden of Eden. A new realm unfolded from the center during that pole shift. And that is now what we call the Lemurian realm. Now, before I carry on, when the realm is at the Eden stage, right? The sun and moon are one. They're not separated. They're one. There's no duality. The realm at the center has got no duality. The moon, the feminine aspect, is responsible for birth, right? Moon, birth, fertility, right? Even our own moon has an impact on women's menstrual cycles. Yes, linked to the woman, the mother. The moon is the mother, and mother is all about birth. So the moons are responsible for reincarnation. The moons reincarnate souls. They're constantly birthing souls in and birthing souls out. So at the center, there is no death. When you're in the Garden of Eden, there is no death, like it says in the Bible and the Torah and the Quran. There's no death. So there's no need for a moon. The sun and the moon are one. They're androgynous. They're together. When a realm leaves, that is when they split up. There's duality. So as that realm is being folded outwards, the sun and moon split up. So Saturn and Jupiter were one at the center. When the Hyperborean realm was pushed out, they also split into two. And this is when physical death begins. So the Hyperboreans reincarnate through Jupiter, the moon of that realm. So when the new realm was seeded, the Lemurian realm, the second one, they had their own sun and moon, which was Mars and Venus. But again, Mars and Venus were one. So Venus didn't exist. It was just Mars, the male. Or both, not just Mars, it was Mars and Venus. But when this Lemurian realm was pushed out from the center, Mars and Venus separated, right, became two. This is when Venus comes to be. So the time before Venus would have been the time before Mars and Venus separated. Before that, that pole shift happened. I hope that answers your question.
How long do you think this was? Astro King, he asked another part of his question. In time, how long ago do you reckon?
So if we're going by this 24-hour system, we would just rewind backwards. So we'd say we are 6,000 years into the Aryan epoch, right? So that's 6,000 years. And then we then count 24,000 years, which have been the Atlantean epoch. So 24 plus 6, 30. So that's 30,000 years. And then we have the epoch, we go back another 24 years. 30 plus 24 is 54?
Yeah, 54.
54. So that would have been 54,000 years, according to this timeline.
Hope that answers you, Astro King. People are making comments about your work in the chat room. You've got them all buzzing now. They're all talking.
I'll bet.
You done, Martin?
Awesome.
How long did it take you to do that map then?
This wheel?
Yeah, the wheel, man. Yeah.
About a year. A year. So obviously it began as an idea where I just thought, well, if our time in everyday reality works like a clock with 12 hours and 24 hours, what if the universe has its own 24-hour and 12-hour clock? So that's the first thing I do. I just drew a clock. And then I started trying to fill in the different Yuga ages, the different zodiacs, and I made many mistakes. So this went through many shifts till I got to a point where I thought, you know what? This is now linking in with everything. So about a year from idea to this, it took about a year.
Okay, there's two more questions for you. There's two. So Brandon says, so we're in the Iron Age then?
We're in the Iron Age, but we're about to shift into the Bronze Age. Right? Okay. So the Aryan beings at the center, they're shifting from their Bronze Age into their Silver Age. They're one age ahead of us. They're 3,000 years ahead of us. This is where time travel comes in. right? We're coming out of the Iron Age and heading into our Bronze Age for the next 3,000 years. The realm on the outside, they've been in the old Golden Age, the old Atlantean Golden Age. They haven't joined the Aryan epoch yet. They are having their reset right now of Iron Age. There are big catastrophes happening right now. If you guys remember the sounds we heard in the sky 2015, 2016, you guys remember that?
Yeah.
The crazy sounds in the sky, it sounded like steel or metal or something breaking.
Yeah.
Sounds. I think this was this realm having the apocalypse. Physically, resetting, a big flood or war, whatever you want to call it, to get them into their Iron Age. Reset.
It sounds like trumpets a lot of the time, doesn't it? Those sounds like
yeah,
really mad.
As well.
Yeah.
And can I just say before, because I am's been trying to put it, they said their question disappeared, they wrote it again. They just wanted to check, I think. Ask again, according to my research, the positive sides of all races exist in the Garden of Eden.
Yes. Beautiful.
Asked
Beautiful.
I am.
Beautiful. So this is where we've got to be very careful that this doesn't turn into it's not a race thing as in the way we've been programmed to think of race, right? This race idea that we have of blacks and whites and Indians and Chinese is a false paradigm of race. The four original root races are Atlantean, Aryan, Atlantean, Lemurian, and Hyperborean. Those are the four root races. But even these root races are constructs. They're also not original. They're also physical constructs. In the universe, there is only one true race. That is Polarian. We're all Polarian. Your soul is Polarian, regardless of what avatar you have. Whether you're wearing a black Atlantean avatar, because I'm a black Atlantean, right? Okay. With links, my avatar is black because it's got links to the Hyperboreans, right? But I'm none of those things. I'm not black, neither am I Hyperborean, neither am I any of those things. I am a Polarian, enjoying this existence as a black Atlantean with traces of DNA traces of Hyperborean, and possibly all the other ones as well mixed in.
There's another question for you. There's two actually. Trouble About in the question in the chat room asked, why 12 zodiacs? Why not 13 like the Chinese? Why not use their calendar? She's just asking. That's
a good point. That is a good point. I suspect they use the 12 system because the 12th sign is probably the pin, Polaris. I've not looked into it, but I'm thinking that they've got the 12 zodiacs, and then the 13th one is the Polarian, the center.
Well, can I?
Yeah,
and my good synchronous friend over here, Josh, is nodding and saying that's probably what it is. He knows quite a lot about that.
You're breaking up, Astral.
Sorry?
Astral, you're breaking up. I'll just turn him down a minute while he sorts himself out. Astro King again wants to know why the ancients always believed in the sun and the stars. And that's why the ancients believed in all... Sorry, get it right. And that's why the ancients always believed the stars and the sun.
Absolutely. We're told they used to worship the sun and worship the stars. No, they didn't. They knew that if you look up, if you know how to read the celestial bodies, you are able to tell real time. You're able to predict events, right? So that whole looking up at the stars and talking to the stars or sun gazing and all that is not a worshipping the way we think as in I'm worshipping a god. It's a worshipping out of respect, respecting time, respecting the universal order of things, if you like. That's why.
There's sorry, Flat Earth Dude has joined us. Hello, Flat Earth Dude.
Hi, Flat Earth Dude.
Hey, sorry I'm a little late.
Hey, man.
I missed the notification. I'm sorry.
That's okay. On with Martin.
Yeah, on with Martin.
In the chat Accord says archons. It is said that they are spirit beings that fed off the negative human emotions and reside in a sort of 2D realm, but can sometimes be perceived close to the material realm.
Archons are not external from us. We all have archons. An archon is an archetype of yourself. You have the devil within you, but you also have God within you. So an archon is just another way for saying the devil. It's another way for saying the jinn. It's another way for saying the left brain mind.
Yep.
It's just your dark side. We all have two polarities. Going back to the whole thing of we're all polarians. We all have three polarities. You're either positively charged as a pole being, you're negatively charged, or you're neutralized. So when you're negatively charged, you're allowing the archons, the negative side of your Polarian self, to shadow you, to become you.
Absolutely.
That's what it is. When you're positively charged, you're allowing the positive side of your Polarian self to come forth, to come forward. When you're neutral, you're in between. You're neither hot nor cold. That's all it is. So these are all archetypes of yourself, of all ourselves. So these archons are not beings from other lands manipulating us. No. The archon is within you. You have your own archon, your own demons, your own battles that you need to work through yourself.
Exactly.
Okay, got another question for you, but I just want to say, can you ask my question? I did ask him your question. He said, very good. Caroline Gutman says, could you ask Martin if his research, has he theorized how Rahu and Ketu nodes of the moon fit into all this? Also comets.
No, I can't. I've not looked into that in great detail. I personally think from a distance, I think Rahu and Ketu are not physical bodies, but they are shadows. What do I mean by that? In this realm, we've got Mars and Venus. Mars is closer to our realm. Mars is always seen next to our sun. Venus, sorry. So Venus is quite close to us. In fact, it's better on here. Venus should be quite close to us, and Mars would be here. Sorry. Venus and Mars. Then we've got our sun, which is further, and our moon, which is slightly closer in the Taurus fields. Now, I think we have eclipses that happen in this realm between our sun and our moon. That's a normal eclipse. But there's also another eclipse. Sorry?
Someone else that comes on our channel, Joe Hill, last night, he captured sort of an eclipse, but he captured the shadow of the eclipse.
Brilliant.
Just
so
the
what's
shadow.
happening?
Shadow came over.
So what's happening there is that shadow is probably one of the luminaries from one of the other realms.
Yeah,
It's an eclipse happening in the other realm. We're only seeing the shadow of that eclipse. That's Rahu and Ketu. So Rahu and Ketu are Mars and Venus, if you like.
There's another question for you.
That's my
They say, could you ask Martin about the impact of the AI and how it correlates with the planet's work, or talk about the AI in general?
AI as in artificial intelligence?
I think so. A.I, yeah.
Well, I think. So I think they're asking how AI might help or whatever, how it correlates with how the planet works, you know, how the Earth works, how it works in regard to that. I presume it means. I'm reading it myself.
It doesn't. Artificial intelligence is exactly as it says. It's artificial. It's not real. It's man-made. It's not natural.
On a cosmic level, that's what they say. Oh, yeah, on a cosmic level.
On a cosmic level, there is no such thing as AI. There's only natural intelligence. There's only natural magic. There's only natural science. There's only on a cosmic level. However, certain beings in certain realms, depending on certain ages, try to disconnect the masses from natural intelligence, and they give us artificial intelligence to control us.
Yeah.
When you're disconnected from nature, you're easier to control. Your polarity is negative.
Look what you think, look what you feel, look what you've done.
Absolutely. So the whole AI agenda is to disconnect Polarian souls from positive polarity and give them a negative charge, which is artificial intelligence. So it's a form of control.
Yeah, and when you wake up, that control isn't the same, is it? Because you're not controlled anymore.
You're not controlled anymore. You're harder to control because you're now in control, right? You're now in control. So when you're in control, someone else cannot control you. You're now in control of your own game, of your own race, of your own journey, of your own destiny.
This generation, where we are now, say, there's a lot of the fact that we're just quite narcissistic, and also everybody goes, well, it's nothing to do with me. So then people don't like to be responsible for themselves. When you start to learn to be responsible for yourself, even if it's emotionally and mentally, things change, don't they?
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's a good way to put it. The best way I can explain it is how this all works. You know, this is all fine and great, but I'm just going to summarize it in a nice, easy way to comprehend. When you are at pole position as a Polarian, this is when we are all at our original self. This is your higher self when you're at pole position, when you're Polarian. This is when you're a spirit being. This is when you're an angel, right? When you're there, you're not in the game. You're not in the matrix. This is where reality is being played from. When you, as a pole being, as a Polarian, as a source player, decide to join the game at whatever level. So if you say, I want to go in as a Lemurian / Atlantean, blah, 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 avatar, that's the game I want to play. You incarnate your polar self into that game. And because of the rules of the game, depending on what age you're in, you're not going to learn anything if you know everything. So you must forget, right? If you come into the game knowing how to play the game, it's pointless playing the game. You don't buy FIFA because you know how to play it. A video game, this is. Right? You play it because you want to learn how to play it, right? Is that fair? Yeah? So this is the same thing with this game of life, this race, right? When a soul incarnates into a body, it must forget what it knows. It must forget who it is in order for it to learn something from that experience. And the more times it plays, the more it's learning about itself, the more it's learning about others, etc., the more that soul is growing with every incarnation. Depending on what your journey is your journey outwards or is your journey inwards on the game? What level are you on the game, if you like? Is that making sense?
It does.
Yeah.
A good idea for you.
Yeah. To myself. I've just been
Great
talking to myself. You've done all this research, right? What happens if there's more to come? Or do you think this is it now? You've recognized nearly everything there is now.
There's no such thing as an end to truth. Truth goes forever. Forever. And we're only just waking up, right? We're only just
yeah.
We're only at the beginning of it. So this is likely maybe even less than 5% of the truth, believe it or not. As much as people go, oh, this is crazy, it's out there, this is nothing. I can guarantee you, if we met maybe an Aryan being who knows a lot more truth than us, who's a lot more ahead, our heads would explode. Because we'd just be like, oh, it makes sense now. So right now, with my fragmented memories, my fragmented way of trying to explain it, I'm explaining a small piece of the puzzle. Right? This is only just the beginning. So, I'm not even worried. I think other people are going to come along and take this to bigger heights than where I've taken it. I've just got the ball rolling to a certain stage. Someone else, who's a teenager right now, maybe who's not even awake, will wake up, they will see this, and they're here to take it to the next level. And that's all it is. It's all about progression, evolving consciously all the time, growing. Everything in the universe is about growth, spiraling outwards, spiraling inwards, breathing.
I don't think a lot of people out there realize, though, that you're living inside out in the first place. You live inside out. Everything, the reality's in your own head. Everything's inside looking out. But a lot of the way we are now, everybody's living outside in. The car, the house, whatever it is. We all like nice things, but you know what I mean? More material rather than everything's inside us.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? There is actually nothing wrong. Going back to my game analogy, there's nothing wrong with that. So going back to the game analogy, if you're a pole being and you've just joined the game here, you've just come into the game, what happens when you buy a new video game? You make many mistakes, don't you? You mess about. You do silly things. You don't know what you're doing. You're not really going anywhere. You don't go, it takes a while before you move on to the next level because you're a novice. It's new to you. You're still enjoying that virtual reality on a conscious level, right? But after a while of playing this game in the different realms, it becomes boring. You're like, actually, you get to a stage where your soul will have to wake up at some point and go, do you know what? I've been playing for too long now. I think I want to go back home. I want to go back to source and maybe reevaluate what I want to do, maybe play at a different level, at a different stage. Maybe I've been in this stage for too long, in this realm. I want to go to the next stage, in or out, right? Depending on what charge your polarity is at. Is it negative? If it's negative, you're always going to be going outwards. If it's positive, you're always going to be going inwards, like you said. So this awakening that we're having, our inner soul, our Polarian higher selves, your twin flame, if you like, is saying to you, either, do you know what? You've played this game for too long. It's time for you maybe to start preparing yourself for another level, to move up.
I think that's set up so much that the way that life's set up now and the fact we're always looking at our phones, no one ever gets to know who they are. And you don't know who you are. None of this will work for you because you're not going to believe anything. It's only when you get to know who you are as a person, then you can then. So, I mean, they've stopped people getting to know, being responsible, getting to know who they are, and so is that another way of losing this? What we've got, we've lost it.
Yep. Absolutely.
Just thank you very much, because obviously I don't know how long you want to go on, Martin. You said you didn't want to be on too long, and it's been nearly an hour and a half, so I don't know how much longer you want to go on, but so appreciate you doing that, and the chat room have loved talking about it. And just explain a little bit more again what's happening in December for you, as I've put out that link for you.
Yeah, so in December, basically, I think what's going to happen is we're going to have a galactic alignment, that's why they call it a galactic alignment, or a what's the other word? Oh, my video in December. Do you mean my video in December, or do you mean this event?
Either one, because is that why you're having the thing in December then, because of this?
Yes, basically that is going to be explaining all of this in a concise way, because right now, obviously, as you can imagine, there's so many layers to this onion. It's difficult to articulate it in a certain format. So we're trying to put it into a video that is clear and concise and easy to follow and exciting to watch, I suppose, and share, and get as many people as possible to know this stuff, right? And if it's wrong, you know what? Fine, it's wrong. Nothing happens. Your life just goes on. But if it's correct or even half correct, at least those who've heard, those with eyes to see and ears to hear, will be consciously prepared, mentally prepared, if anything. And that's all that is all about.
Very much appreciate you and the person who's holding the camera.
Yeah.
That's my good friend Josh.
Hello guys, all right?
All right.
Yeah.
Hi there. So you're into all this as well, by the way, cameraman.
Yeah, I've been syncretizing for at least 15 years, I'd say, maybe 16 years. I was awake as a 7-year-old boy, and my journey started around then for me. I'm 32 now, but serious every day for 5 hours a day since I was 17. So I pretty much covered everything
Nice.
on the internet, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah. I'm ready with Martin here just to gain our troops for this mission. Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, nice.
Do you feel more waking up as
Nice,
well, by the way?
What's that? Sorry.
You feel the turn is coming now, that more and more people are waking up and people are beginning to talk about different things and
Yeah, reality's unfolding itself. There's many different forms to reality, i.e. language, numbers, everything is numbers. But so I think we're going to find little spawns of consciousness in little areas, and we're all going to come together eventually within the next year or two and find ourselves communicating daily on our own land, and never leaving each other, because this actually has to happen. Together is spelt to get her. And our words have been presented to us in this way, which I'm going to present to you lot soon, because I feel like this is missing out of the community language. I've discovered a new type of language, a new type of decoding of language that I've never seen. And yeah, it's going to come forth very soon with me and Martin. If you guys are interested in hearing about it, I'll give you a word now that you maybe have missed. As you're aware, government is governing the mind. Mental.
Can I just say before I forget, please drop a link in the chat whilst I remember now, where we can, find you.
I'm off the web.
Oh, right, okay.
To be honest, I've been doing this myself, and I've never had anybody to chat to. I reached out to Martin a couple of months ago, and yeah, we've been having some serious talks, and yeah, we're making moves our end, and we're trying to bring forth something good as well from us. So yeah, expect good things. I was going to say,
you are on the internet now. You are
sorry?
on the internet. You are on the internet right now.
Oh, I am now. Yeah. The word measurement itself, I think a lot of people have missed this, and this is a key to all language. All language has been written in Sanskrit, mainly twice, doubled up together for people to decode. So I said measurement to you. We know measurement is to measure something, yeah? But the word itself is me, sure, meant. So measurement is me, sure, mine. And this is how language has actually been presented to us, but a lot of us have not seen this. We've just sort of scraped the surface. So there's loads of words, like imagine is written as I'm a genie. And we have chakra. Shak is a house. Ra is the sun. It's the house of the sun within our body. We have rainbow, which is Ra in bow. There's just so many, I can't give it to you yet, but there's millions of words that we have ready. And this will unfold our reality in a separate way of what we're doing now, because reality is written. It's a code, and it needs to be broken down by ourselves, because we are the programmers of this reality ourselves. But we just didn't know it yet.
Absolutely.
If you see what I'm saying.
I agree, man. Totally.
And it's phonetically as well. Planets is written planet because we should plan it. Astronomy is astro myself.
This is all very, very interesting stuff. Extremely, because we've dipped into etymology so many times, with many different people. So it's same avenue, definitely. But I love this.
If I give you this word, right, and this is how I will present it, because it allows you to unlock the cogs in the mind. Miracle. If I give you the word miracle, okay, it's my Ra, cool. So it's actually you speaking to the sun is actually going to create that miracle. And we aren't aware of this, but it's hidden in the language that we speak. And this is our spells.
we've been given the spells ourselves. So we're actually speaking terms, creating reality ourselves unknowingly. So what we need to do is understand, understand, overstand the language that we speak, change it, and change our reality at the same time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the words are powerful, and they do cut our life like a sword, you know. So yeah, I can't wait. I've always been alone in my headspace because I've never been able to communicate with beings on a level because I've never reached out. But yeah, if you guys are interested, I'd love to maybe have a chat with
Totally. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. We love that kind of stuff.
There's so much more as well. That's brilliant.
Yeah, I
All
mean,
right. Well, it's lovely to meet you guys.
And you?
Yeah, you take care and have a lovely evening.
You too.
I'm gonna go and get a quick drink of water because I've been holding the camera and I got the dry smell there. But have a lovely night, guys, and I will see you soon.
Cheers.
See you in a bit.
Cheers.
Thank you for that. Sorry, my screen's gone green. I can't see anything on the Hangout at the moment, which is a bit annoying. The chat room's come back, but my the screen's gone green.
Green screen.
Yeah, I'm stuck on you, Martin, at the moment. I can't change the camera because I can't see anything.
Oh.
I don't know if to come out, go out, and come back in. If I do that, I'll kill the Hangout.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I'm not too fast, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I just can't. I don't know what to do now because I can't touch anything. It's all green. I can't see anything except it's green. I can hear you.
Yeah, we can just do with sound. I'll do another 15 minutes and then I'll have to shoot off. So.
Okay, hopefully the screen comes back then.
Yeah.
Really bizarre.
Yeah, so where did you guys want to take it from there? Just to cap it all off?
Yeah, I'm sorry, you have to stick with the camera on you for the moment because I don't know what to do.
Okay, that's fine.
I think I might have to come back on. Do you mind if I do that? I've just got to leave you all for a minute.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay, then I'll be back in a second.
See if I can just change the camera angle.
Yeah, I was going to say we don't need to, just continue chat.
Yeah, we just chat. Great stuff. You got me scared to talk. I'm gonna put a spell on myself. Like, oh no, I can't understand all these words, man. It's
just be virtuous in every action, and you will manifest a perfect reality.
Yeah, it's all about your intent. If your intent is in the right place, even if you say spells subconsciously, but your intent is right, then that kind of overrides it, I think, generally.
No question. If it's in your heart, and that makes such a big difference.
Yeah, and when we start doing hangouts with Josh, I mean, he's fantastic with etymology. He's literally writing a new language, literally. And
exactly.
we are thinking that maybe this new language that he's decoding is the original Sanskrit.
Very interesting.
Is the original language. So our language today, and English is the purest form of language at the moment, which is why it's the most used language, is probably extremely watered down Sanskrit, the mother language.
Yeah.
So if we can break down the English language and find that mother tongue, the mother language, then we would be able to possibly cast spells, if you like, that can literally physically change reality, as crazy as that sounds, which is what the elites do in their rituals. So they know this. When you see them do those satanic rituals, they're casting spells because they obviously know the right original mother tongue, words and languages.
And this is why magic is spelt magic, because it's the mother, M-A-G as in God, Freemason God, I-C. And when you're able to see the mother for who she is, which is a reciprocating hyperboloid or a torus, then everything else will unfold, and then the magic can happen, you know. And magnetic, or see, the magnetic comes from the magic again, because it's the mother G net IC. So magnetism is the net of the mother, yeah? Just as mathematics is the movement of the mother, the matics. It's the movement of the mother.
That's
Right.
great.
Beautiful,
Is this
isn't it?
Wow.
where that, like, you know, if you were saying
That
son,
is great.
the son meant the firstborn, it meant a certain thing. It was like a story. One word was a story. Is that what you're talking about? That everything is just so, every word is a story. It's just that we only see letters.
Absolutely, absolutely.
There's only Taurus.
And it's crazy, you know, we were, the other day we were just talking about how certain words we are told not, or we're taught to fear, are probably really good magic words.
Yeah, it's
So
always
like
the
the-
opposite way around.
So like the word cunt, right? That word actually, its root word is mother. That's where the word country comes from, motherland. So you're told not to say cunt, it's a dirty word. It's actually a really good magic spell.
And they called it the womb, as in the.
But we don't know what it spells. We don't know what spell it casts. That's what we all need to be trying to decode and figure out.
This talk of Vedic, I was looking into some mathematics the other day, and the Vedics actually have an interesting way of doing mathematics. It's so easy.
Yeah.
And I recommend people look into it.
Absolutely.
Instead of adding from
toss that word around, man.
Yeah, instead of adding from right to left, add from left to right, and yeah, just plenty of out on the internet there, and it's so easy, you know. I mean, you can be a genius within an hour. Within an hour,
everything has been reversed. It's the only way that our consciousness could be tricked during the Iron Age, because as a Polarian, no matter how much you forget, you are God. We're all God, right? We're all microcosm of the macrocosm. We're all an aspect of the whole. So the only way to confuse your Polarian self is to reverse the truth.
Reverse means.
But the moment you hear the truth, you can't unknow it. You can't reverse it. You can't reverse it. So this is the whole trick. So these controllers, the way they've managed to keep so much control in this realm and lie to everyone about everything is by simply reversing the truth.
Totally.
Yeah, you know, like wives' tales. They're probably all the truth.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I was just about to say.
Oh, Astral, you broke up.
Yeah, I lost that.
It's so annoying when that's happening because they can't hear you. Astral, you broke up. He's still going. Astral, you've broken up.
No.
No, you broke up. Try again.
All right, I'll drop off.
No, you're all right now. Oh,
no.
he'll be back. Yeah, wives' tales. We were saying they're all the truth.
Yeah, wives' tales, fairy tales, movies that we're given. A lot of the stories in books by these authors, they tell us so many truths, but it's all reversed. It's all coded, and it's all about trying to decode these truths, basically. For those with eyes to see and ears to hear.
Can you hear me again?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. I forgot what I was saying. That's one of them brain farts, isn't it? What were we talking about then? The Vedic, the numbers, and all that. That it was interesting that there are, of course, things that are being kept from us all the time.
Yeah.
We learn so much so fast nowadays. And especially things like this, you know, because you open up so many avenues of thought, Martin, you know, with this chart behind you, you'll get a lot of people thinking, that's interesting. What if this? What if that? What if, you know? Yeah, that's why I like these think tanks, I call them.
Yeah, and that's all this is. This is not about telling people what the truth is. This is about sparking minds. It's about sparking the truth, sparking the conversation and saying, you know, in the flat earth, it was almost taboo to talk about anything outside the dome. That spell was cast forever. If you say the word aliens or extraterrestrials in the flat earth community, everyone would point fingers at you. There's no such thing as space. There's no such thing as aliens. So that's a spell that was cast by someone.
Yeah.
So all I've done is I've tried to uncast that spell, that magic, that black magic spell, by saying, why can't we talk about extraterrestrials?
Yeah, why do so many flat earthers glitch out on that? It's really mad, you know?
Yeah. Why can't we talk about extraterrestrials?
It's so bizarre. Beings coming from other lands. What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that? Well, why is everyone so scared? What does not make sense about that?
I mean,
yeah.
Extraterrestrial just means more land.
More land.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so this is all about sparking conversation and sparking minds. And many people will go off. I've had many people send me text messages that are teaching me and going, oh, Martin, I watched that and I found this. And I'm going, oh my, wow, you know, that's blowing my mind. So it's all about learning from one another, sparking each other's minds and getting and moving the ball forward.
Together.
Glowheads would get into something like this, you know, with other lands and possibilities of other races in other realms. You think they'd really get into that concept, you know, or the idea, or
yeah, you'd think. And it's funny, the Christians are the worst. Yeah. Christians will say, no, there's a dome, there's nothing else.
Yeah,
and yet
dome.
The Bible is full of extraterrestrial stories.
Yeah.
When they say these beings who came and had sex with men, what do you mean? They are angels that came and had sex with human beings? What kind of angel is this that has physical sex and children with human beings?
Yeah.
Right? What kind of being is this? This is obviously an alien being, and that's in the Bible. So how Christian cannot see that is beyond me.
Yeah, totally.
Beyond me. If you're going to use your Bible as a reference, why are you ignoring that piece of knowledge?
And don't think that the other realms don't have their own Bible, because the Holy Bible is the Holy Bible, the Holy two bulls, which is your sun and your moon, and the discovery is the discoveries, which are, well, let's not go too much into it. Sorry, I could go on forever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to. This is very deep, and a lot of people aren't deep, though, are they? Out there, then that's why they need to hopefully wake up, because then when they wake up, they start thinking.
And that is the ink.
Asking questions.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's finding the people, because we're all at different stages. We've all peeled different layers of this onion, and we're all at different stages. When myself and Josh start talking, you know, I think people just, if anyone was in the room, they'd think we're aliens, because it's almost like we stop speaking English because we get so deep into it. Sometimes we get lost in it. We don't even know where we're going with what we're saying, and we don't even understand what we're saying, but we're having the conversation. We're not afraid to talk about nothing is off the table, if you like.
Yeah. And it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
There's
no fear. There's no fear in talking about anything, especially the things we're taught to fear.
Do you think, without putting anybody into sort of a category, that when you think about all the things you've learned and what you're looking into, it's a very, what's the word? Oh, no, don't say, I'm going to have one of those brain farts now. Everything's, the people who are waking up, I can't think of the word now. Oh, no. It's gone. Sorry, I can't, because I'm thinking about it.
Well, if I can preempt you a little bit, and maybe this is what you're trying to allude to. In this realm right now, Atlanteans, there are 3 types of Polarian beings, Polarian souls. Like I said, positives, neutrals, and negatives. So you meet people who are very negative about everything. They're very controlling, very manipulative. They're nasty people. These are the elites, pedophilia, murder, extortion, all these things. These are negatively charged Polarians. But there's only a small number of them, right? On the other end, you've got the positive Polarians who have to balance out. That's the yin and the yang. These are the ones that are waking up now. This is us, the ones that are trying to counterbalance that negative energy with positive energy. And part of positive energy is through love, through truth, through togetherness, and all that. Majority of people on Earth are neutrals, are neutralized. So that's your everyday Joe. That's 90%.
Now, intellectual. It's a very intellectual thing, isn't it, Flat Earth? It's not just about the land, it's about everything and the history and language, and it's quite intellectual. Is this where we lose some people?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the flat earthers are not positive Polarians. They're neutral Polarians. They're not yet positively charged. They won't understand it. They're not ready to move to that level.
True.
They're neutral.
Yeah, it's true.
Right? They haven't shifted a gear. And maybe they're not meant to shift a gear in this lifetime. So there's nothing you can say to change their minds. In the same way, they are negative Polarians. They are people who are just evil. There's nothing you will do to change their minds. They're just evil human beings. They're just so negatively charged. It's almost impossible to put any other charge other than that negative charge. But that is their role within this reality. There has to be a positive, a neutral, and a negative. Otherwise, there's no point in having this reality. We'll all just be robots. That's the name of the game. So it's all about knowing thyself. Know thyself. Are you a negative Polarian? Are you a neutral? Or are you a positive? Know thyself.
I agree with you there.
So it's not about changing the world. It's not about, we will never change the world. It's not meant to be changed. We have to change our world. I'm trying to change my world. And by changing my world, I'm changing my destiny. I'm changing my race. I'm changing my journey. And those who are on the same path as me. That's all I'm doing. I'm not trying to change the world. I'm trying to change my destiny.
I suppose even if you change, it changes everything, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Like, even one person changes everything.
Hey?
So the more that change, everything's going to sort of change out and out and out like a ripple effect, because we're all changing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It is a ripple effect. I've got no control over who receives what ripple or when they receive that ripple. But all I can do is what I can do within my means. Right? What do I have? What resources, what knowledge do I have? And I will put it out there, and I'll ripple out the vibrations of whatever my intent is. And those who resonate with it will get it when it's their time, when they're ready for it. And vice versa, there are things that I'll hear from people. I might not be ready to hear it sometimes. And I'll go, it's not for me. And then maybe 3 months later, I'll come back and go, well, actually, I think I'll revisit what you were telling me before. So
it actually adds on, doesn't it? Now it's important. Now it's important. It wasn't important a couple of weeks ago, but now it is for a bit of information for the next bit.
Absolutely. And I've done that many times. I've had conversations with people. I did it with Josh. Josh was here 4 weeks ago. And we had a conversation, and I was kind of going, well, that's not really relevant. It doesn't really matter. I wasn't resonating with the whole etymology and a lot of the secrets being hidden in words. And I thought, yes, it has a place, but it's not as deep as you're making it out to be. And then he went off, and then certain things happened, and it brought me back full circle. And he's come back, and I've gone, well, actually, I think you're onto something there. There is something in our words. There is something in sound, in resonance, in music that is very magical, physically magical, which is why they build stadiums to fill people up, chanting certain words. Those words are magic spells. When people are in there going, Manchester's United, Manchester United. That Manchester is a spell of some sort. It's got a hidden meaning.
Yes, I imagine it's all like that. We don't even know what we're saying. Same,
Don't know
isn't it?
what we're saying. So they're harvesting energy. So these words that they've put into things, when they name a football club, these people who've named these football clubs, they don't just come up with names because it's random, or a city or a town. Those words they're naming, those sounds, they're not even words, they're sounds. Those sounds they're making us make on a mass level collectively is casting a spell of some sort. For sure. For sure.
So
This is why
basically,
your
very
churches,
conscious about everything you're saying then, isn't it, really? Because you're always casting spells.
absolutely, energy harvesting. Stadiums, churches, shopping malls. It's all about,
Well,
concerts.
I would always say, even down to like, a level where you're watching something on TV where you see something happen, you go, oh, that has bearing. It has bearing. I know people might think, oh, that's ridiculous, but that I'm sure has bearing upon what will occur later on, somewhere along the line. It's a cycle. Every action causes a reaction.
Brilliant, 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 brilliant. It's all psychology. It's all astrology. Astrology and psychology are the same thing. That's all it is. So these elites, when they put things in TV, in programs, it's predictive programming. They're trying to predict the future by programming us to think that reality, to speak that reality, right? And when you speak something, you're casting a spell and you're manifesting that reality. That is all it is. So they put these ideas in our heads. This is what the news is. So a lot of the news, what we call fake news, they do hoax events because they're trying to program the masses. There's a coded message in there that we don't even understand. So when we're watching the news and we're going, oh my God, 9/11, that was a program. That was code to wake us up, or God knows what for.
Yeah, and very interesting.
Mm.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I just want to say something on the number 9 and the number 11, and this is why the attacks happen on 9/11, okay? Because 9 is the number of God or the number of subconscious, and 11 is L even, which represents the twin pillars of Freemasonry in our mind, our left brain and our right brain. So a 9/11 attack example is to attach itself to your left or to your right, depending on your level of awareness in this matrix, because the matrix is always set. And the matrix will always play its part, but depending on your level of consciousness in the game will have a different effect on what your visual or your sound will see. The 9/11 was completely fabricated. There is no planes that hit the building. It was just an illusion for your subconscious, number 9, and your twin pillars to make your decision in your game, in your matrix.
Yeah. Are you in the black box or in the white box?
Yeah.
Are you a positive or are you a negative? That's all it was. It was separating the wheat from the chaff.
But when it first happened, though, we all I did. I was just so shocked, and we watched, and they kept playing it again and again and again and again and again and again to get that into your subconscious and everything. This is what happened. It took me a little while afterwards, but then, of course, for me, I just couldn't believe it. Once you start even seeing that, the whole of that, just what a lie.
They tried to help us.
Yeah. And like what Josh is saying now, we give these elites a lot of stick, and we should give them stick. But by doing 9/11, they were trying to wake us up. They were trying to help us. Those who are meant to be waking up. Not because they love us, but because they have to. Because that's the universal protocol.
Free will.
Free will. They have to give those who are meant to be waking up the choice to wake up, the aids to wake up. Because if they don't, then their karma or their energy will not align to the things that they need or they want.
They can't advance themselves then.
They can't advance themselves.
Well, that's just the same. It's the same thing as
putting
the truth in plain sight, like airplane.
Well, yeah.
Right. right? Sea
Yep.
level, sea level.
Well,
Things
I
like
know
that.
that there's plenty of people that have seen this, but those that haven't seen it, the film The Matrix was filmed well before 9/11 happened, before 2001, and when he presents his passport, if he frees the film, turn it round, it's got the date of expiration or whatever it is, and it says 2001 and September 11th.
Yeah.
You know, and it's right there, and this is before, so we know that they this is
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's magazines. There's a magazine. I don't know if it's The Economist. Is it from 1992? Where they've got Rockefeller sitting in one of his buildings, and he's the time is 9/11, and behind him in the window is the Twin Towers. So there's a clock near the wall, and the clock says 9/11, 9 minutes past 11, or whichever way it is. And behind him in the window is the Twin Tower.
It's the clock.
Yeah,
His watch. It's the watch on his hand. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's the watch on his hand.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
It's a Matrix.
Yeah. So it's all predictive programming, all of it.
Oh,
I
yeah,
saw the other
totally.
day, those in the UK, the Leicester City boss, he died in a helicopter crash. Did anyone see that?
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, the helicopter exploded after the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all ritual, all of that. It's all programming for whatever reasons. You know, it's all part of the Matrix, all of it. Our reality is literally being scripted.
Yeah, well, I
yeah,
saw
totally.
something on the news today here in Denmark, and it was something to do with the 33 days or 33 hours, or it was 33 something or other anyway.
Okay.
Dubious straight away, dubious, very.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But also the danger is, this is where the danger is. If those of us awakening, and sometimes this is a trap, it's a false light trap. Those of us who awaken, if we get too stuck in the conspiracies, we stop growing. So you get people who wake up, and instead of moving forward, they end up being stuck in the rabbit hole. You're looking at transgenders, you're looking at the hoaxes, you're looking,
Yeah,
oh, they lied about this. So instead of looking for truth, you're spending all your energy trying to expose the lies.
Yeah.
You're doing it all wrong. They've got you. That's where they want you. They want you focusing your attention on exposing the lies and not focus your attention on finding the truth. Those are two different things. Exposing lies and finding truth are two different things. So a lot of us who have awoken have fallen into the trap of trying to expose lies.
Wow, that's messed up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Messed up.
That's
Yeah.
messed
We're
up.
awake. We're exposing the lies. No, you're not. They've got you where they want you. They
Yep.
don't want you to be looking for the truth. You're too busy trying to expose the lie. You can't see the truth.
Dude, yeah, do a video on that. That's really good. That is so insightful. Wow, thank you.
And perhaps I'm not saying this is why. Perhaps this is why I've managed to figure this out. Because I got to a stage quite early in my awakening where I said, I don't care that they've been lying to me. I really have I don't care that NASA lies to me. I want to know what truth they've told us. I'm looking for the truth in what they tell us, not the lies. I don't care about the lies. The lies will expose themselves when I expose the truth. Or the truth doesn't need defending. The truth will always defend itself. So you'll see in my videos, I never attack the Rothschilds or anyone. I never ever attack anyone in person, because the truth I'm presenting will do the attacking for itself, will defend itself. The truth will speak for itself.
When you turn the television off and you start thinking for yourself, and you stop taking notice of all that, though, isn't it? We're doing something else now.
We got to get ourselves out of the proper ties the houses, the properties, the properties, and they're down to matrix water, matrix grounds council taxes. We need to free land and move into it together to get her. We need this journey to happen.
And yeah, hopefully this time around it's more of a conscious thing, isn't it? A higher conscious, and that's where we're coming together.
Yeah, definitely. This is the matrix mind, where this is where we're all neos, we're all glitches in the matrix.
Mm-hmm.
So the more of us awaken, the more of us that vibrate at the same frequency, on the same wavelength, the stronger our spell will become. The more we have an impact on the matrix. It's all a game of numbers. Mathematics. Mother matters. It's all about the maths. So the more numbers you have casting one spell, the more that spell will manifest. The stronger the intent or the vibration of that manifestation, the quicker it will manifest.
This is touching on the of noetic science, you know. We all think a positive thought.
Yeah.
We're going to get that positive result. It's going to snow tonight. It's going to snow tonight. We all think that. Snow that night.
Is he breaking up?
No, I can hear him.
Okay.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. I know we all say, oh, it's a bit airy-fairy. It's all new age-ish. It's all... But again, that is another trap. You know, that's been put in there to fear anything that sounds crazy. It's new age, right? That's something always people always say, well, of course it's new age, because we are in the new age. Who wants to stay in the old age? We should be embracing new age ideas. So all these are programs that have been put into the mass consciousness to keep us from finding the truth, because we're trying to expose the new age deception instead of finding the new age truth. Going back to that whole thing of exposing and finding.
Write our own program.
And then writing your own program.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right in saying, when we're all casting the same spell, if many of us are saying the earth is flat, the more of us that say it, the more that spell comes into reality in the collective.
Yeah.
Do you think one of the other things as well, sometimes we broach on it, it's a little bit different to the etymology, but love. We don't talk about love enough. We don't love each other enough, not even as human beings.
Yeah.
Love brings us together.
Love is the resonance.
Yes, but love as well has been warped, right? Our perceptions, we're talking about this with Josh today. Your perception of love or your idea of love can also be manipulated. How many times have we all fallen in love and then fallen out of love? You've met someone, you thought, I will die for this person. I love this person so much, I will do anything. And then a few years later, you want to kill them. You're like, I will literally murder this person because I hate them that much. Right?
And
so
some have done.
Some have done, right? So again, everything has been so reversed. We're so messed up that even the most basic of vibrations as love is now misplaced. You know, so love, the true form of love is not a self-serving love. It's a love of giving.
Like a tree.
Yeah.
Right? That's the only time you know you have true love, is when you're giving without condition, unconditional love in the truest sense.
Yeah, I agree with
This
that.
is why, and this is why I've got nothing against people who do it, but this is why I never sell merchandise with my work. I never accept donations or money or expect anything from anyone, because I want my truth to be a gift, a virtuous gift. Whatever I'm sharing must be virtuous. I don't want anything in return. The moment I have something in return, it's now an exchange. It's now a contract. It's now a deal I've made.
You know what, though, when you change things, then people want to become more like you. So in a sense, they'll be giving you things because that's what you get by giving, even though you're not asking. That's hopefully what happens.
Brilliant.
Is people then give you whatever it is in different ways, whatever it is, they give you back. It comes back.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
and that's a great way. You know, that's a good example, Karen. You know, and this is how you know pure love from false love. So, for instance, I get many people who message me and go, "Oh, Martin, I love the work that you've done. You've changed my life. It's amazing. It all makes sense. It's all great." And yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And they're like, I wanna give you money. I want to help you. I want to give you money. Why don't you have a patron or something? What can I do for you? Right? And at that point, I normally say, I don't want anything, because I don't want anything. I don't need anything. Now, someone who wants to give you something will give you regardless. Are you understanding what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Norb is a good example of that. Right? I didn't ask him. Right? He went off. He remade the cosmic egg. He spent loads of his time. That work that he did, that 3D model, is worth thousands of pounds of time and resources and skills. If that went through a business, it would have cost like 50 grand to do that. But he did that in his own time, he didn't expect anything. And he says, "Here's Martin, I've done this for you to help you get this word out, regardless of whether you want it or not. I felt strongly enough to want to do something for you. I did it regardless." So for me, that sounds like true love.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. In a sense, we have it with the hangouts. You know, I don't pay Patricia or Astral, or money goes between this group is free. You know, the information's to go out.
Brilliant.
So we have to trust each other and learn and grow, etc.
Absolutely, yeah. And if you say, Karen, you're in hard times, you're struggling with money, the question, how you know someone really wants to help, is how you ask the question. I could either say, "Is there anything I can do for you, Karen?" Or I could say, "Karen, what's your address? Karen, have you got a PayPal, Karen? Send me your PayPal." Right? I'm not asking you. I'm going to give it to you because it's my gift. You said you're in need. I'm not asking whether you'd like something. I am giving it to you whether you want it or not, because I love you and I know it's going to help you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
In a positive way, obviously, not anything negative, but in a positive way.
Yeah.
So that's a funny one, because that's something that I've been trying to understand. That whole thing of giving, of gift, of money, of mixing money with the matrix. How do you balance all that? It's a really tricky one, because many people have said to me for a long time about the whole money thing, and some people are for it, some people are against it, some people say it's good, some people say it's bad.
Yeah.
But that's the only way that makes sense for me, that money itself is not a bad thing. The intent of wanting to help someone is not a bad thing, but it's whether how you commit yourself to the act of giving someone something, whatever it is. It doesn't have to just be money.
And also, we're not used to people being nice anymore, are we? I mean,
No.
maybe 30, 40 years ago, things were different. You know, the neighbours were giving each other vegetables and helping and whatever, growing. I look after your kids. Not that much happens. I mean, that's just the way they've bred us, isn't it? With all the laws, the television, the programs.
We always expect something from somewhere. It's interesting. I was watching a documentary the other day about the Aborigine. Oh, not even Aborigines. The original Australians. They're not Aboriginal. They're original. They were saying in their native tongue, they've never had a word for please or thank you. For them, it's crazy. They're like, "Why do you say please or thank you?" It means you're begging. We don't have a word for please. You just say, "I want, give me that," or "I want that." And it's expected you're going to get it, because no one begs in that community. No one says thank you, because it's expected that you give whatever you have. The moment you're saying thank you, it means you're now, it's charity. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Slave language.
It's slave language. So it was interesting the way, I'm not explaining properly, but the way he was explaining it, in saying that we don't have a word for please or for thank you, because giving is just a natural thing like breathing.
Yeah, what it is in where we are right now, to give something away means you feel like you're losing something. But
Losing something.
and it's from your heart, and you're whatever giving it away, you're giving it away. But a lot of people have conditions on it, don't they?
Absolutely, 100%. 100% conditions on it, and that's ego, that's programming, and we all suffer from it. I struggled with it going back to Norb. You know, when Norb released the Norb theory, I struggled with a few things. You know, so I saw that and I thought, well, it's fantastic. You know, it's like I've done this for Martin, but he called it the Norb theory, and I must say it upset me because I felt like I owned that information. It's mine. Why is he calling it Norb theory? It's my theory. That's my ego. So I had to remind myself that, am I doing this for myself, for my self-recognition, or am I doing this because I genuinely want to find truth and share it and give it out and receive it without condition? So that was the universe testing me and saying, how pure, how virtuous are you?
I know, but we can't be perfect, can we? And we're always learning.
But I'm giving that example to show people that I'm saying this from personal experience as well. I'm not just saying it because, you know.
Yeah, we've listened to you before. This has been a journey for you. You said you started off by, no, it's this way, and arguing with people. No, it's that way. And then it changed for you.
Yeah. There is no this or that way. There is, let's discuss this. Let's talk about this. Let's explore this together.
Something. Do you think when you notice those that are more awake and all that, there's not this worry about any ego or any of these things? There's just no, you don't even talk about it. I bet you don't sit there. Sorry, what's Josh, isn't it? You sit there going, well, my ego's bigger than yours. You don't sit, these things just don't enter your head.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's not to say we agree about everything. So most of our conversations are disagreeing, which is good, but it's constructive. So he'll say something a lot of the time, and I'll go, oh, I don't know, maybe it's this. Then you'll go, I don't know, maybe it's that. Then we'll go off to bed, and then we'll sleep over it, and in the next morning we'll go, oh, I think you were right. And then he'll say, no, I think you were right. Right? All of a sudden we're coming together. We're mixing the two. So we're both saying something similar in the end, but in the heat of the moment, you know, our egos come out sometimes, you know, things come into it. But the wisdom, when you mull over things, and this is how you know you're in good company, because you're not afraid to challenge one another. You're not afraid to be wrong, but you're also not afraid to correct one another.
We're all searching for the truth.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well said, both of you, because at least we all can sit at the table, wherever we're sat, talk about things, discuss them, you know, and mull over things and, you know, come up with different ideas or different scenarios, whatever. But all these top scientists in the world refuse to. So, well, science is based on, you know, coming up with new theories, isn't it? I mean, if everything is a theory, then let's try and, you know, work a new model. But them refusing to acknowledge us and ridicule us, I mean, that's just ignorance. I cannot give a better word other than ignorance.
Totally.
Brilliant. It's all ignorance. It's all the ego. And this is why science is a religion, because the fundamental idea of science is exploration. You explore, and exploring has got no limits. There is no limit to exploring anything. There isn't a point where you go, it's not a destination, it's a journey. So when science starts saying this is not up for debate, we're not talking about this, we've covered it, it's solid, it's conclusive, then it's become a religion. When religion does the same thing, then you've lost the battle. You've lost. You're never going to find the truth. You've boxed yourself. That's what you call boxing yourself.
Sorry to cut you. That's kind of my fear with what's happening with society right now. As they're, you know, saying, well, it's a fact, you know. Well, it's in the science books, you know. We've known this for hundreds of years. We learned this at school, and when you try and tell them, it's still theory. And if our theory or anyone's theory, you know, is viable, and workable, then that is also a usable theory.
Yep.
But
And here's-
they just take it that all these so-called proven that are still unproven science facts, they're just riding upon that all the time, and it's that what we need to break, because too many people are still believing in it, and it's still theory, like we say.
The idea of that, though, is almost your awakening is waking up to the fact that you are God and you are in control. So the purpose of this matrix is for them to be controlled until they can control themselves.
Yeah.
So it has a massive purpose in the game of every individual star on this plane we exist on, because it is a part of our journey of just awareness.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that there's a paradox to what you've just said, because I've had conversations with flat earthers who say, oh yeah, these globe earthers, they don't know the difference between facts and theory, and it's a fact, the earth is flat and there's a dome over us, and and that's that. I don't know why we're even arguing about this. And then I normally say to them, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's not a fact that the earth is flat, because you've never seen it yourself. You've never seen the flat earth yourself. You've never seen for yourself the dome. You don't know that there's a barrier above us. It's all theory, all of it.
Yeah, you're right about that.
It's all theory. So when flat earthers say, oh, Martin, your theories, and I say, no. Your model is also a theory. Every single map we've seen of the flat earth is CGI. There isn't a single photograph of the flat earth in existence, or the globe, or any construct of the earth. There isn't a single photograph in existence of the earth. Every single one is CGI.
Yeah.
Flat, round, globe, square, they're all CGI.
Yeah.
So it's all on the table for discussion. Let's talk about it all.
Exactly.
So it's all theory.
18, so futuristic that we're going off into instead of the truth.
Absolutely. Yep.
It's disgusting what they've done with the mind control, though, and to take us away. And basically, like this other thing they've done is that, a person will say, oh, well, they hate Muslims, or they hate, but it's not, they've made sure that we all hate each other. It's not just one culture, one color. Everybody hates everybody now.
Why do you see the old lady walking on the road on her own? And every single car that drives past you, everybody's on their own. They've divided us massively, and it's just up to us to bring ourselves together.
But in saying that, there is no they or us. We are also part of the problem. We've also created this construct, right? Maybe not in this life, maybe in past lives. We are all responsible for this reality. So it's also our responsibility to correct it. So a good example is myself. A year ago, I had this dream that I kept having over and over again, that I was this Irish priest in this temple in Ireland. I was an Irish priest, and I kept having this dream of me being this Irish priest in this dark, dodgy temple, and I couldn't understand, why am I having this dream over and over again? And then a friend of mine did a reading for me, astrological reading, and one of the readings he got from that, he says basically the time you were born. I'm sure you know about astrological readings, and he says it looks like in your past life your chart is saying you were involved in the occult. That's what your chart is saying, right? And he explained it all, and I said, that's funny, because I keep having this dream where I'm an Irish priest, right? I'm a very high rank Irish priest somewhere, and it seems very occultish and very dark and dingy. And I think maybe in a past life I might have been part of the Illuminati. I might have been part of the occult. So maybe me remembering this stuff is because this information is recent for me. I learned this in a past life. So it's easy for me to retrieve those memories. They're not far away memories. So like I'm saying, when I do this research, it's like I'm remembering. It's like they come into my mind as memories, not memories as ideas, but the ideas are so close to reality once I've done the research that I don't know if it's making sense. But for sure, I think in my past life, personally, I was possibly responsible for a lot of the bad things in this reality, which is why maybe I'm so driven to give the truth out at any cost. I don't care if they threaten me, if they come and kill me, I will die for the truth. It's almost like my soul is trying to correct a wrong that I've done. Does that make sense? That's why I'm so passionate about the truth. So it's interesting, you know, when I'm now looking at things introspectively, my own life, why am I so passionate about this? Why is it easy for me to decode a lot of these things? Why is it so easy for me to decode it? It's probably because I was involved in this stuff in the past life and possibly not on the good side of things.
Well,
I'm trying to reduce my karma. That's my theory, anyway.
Yeah. I'm glad it's the good side this time.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
Me too.
Well, next time you say, I'll come on for 45 minutes and I'm going, go on, make it an hour. You can say that again. If you say 2 hours next time, we know that it's going to be 4 hours.
Yeah, I know. It was wishful thinking. But anyway, Josh got involved because I was just worried about Josh, you know, being here, but he's obviously got involved and
Yeah, nice talking with Josh. We want to have Josh. We want to have Josh back on again. Or you know, I'm speaking for us all. Karen.
Yeah, man. Yeah, do a show, do a hangout.
We're here till Friday. Thursday night or tomorrow night we can do it.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely.
We'll plan something today and then text them.
We'll get in touch one day.
Yeah. We'll plan something tomorrow and we'll give you a little text and see if we can arrange something while I'm down seeing Martin.
Oh, he doesn't have to be you and
yeah.
It'd be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Great.
Anything else before we go?
Well, we'll say goodbye off air. We very much appreciate you explaining that. And there were some good questions anyway from the chat room, wasn't there? And Nicolas, is there anything else you'd like to say to Martin?
No, all good. No, that's been great. Really enjoyed that. Yeah, cheers, Martin.
Me too. Yeah, you're welcome anytime. I've enjoyed it as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, you didn't repeat all the same things in your presentation, did you?
No, I didn't.
But it is hard, isn't it? Because you can't say one thing without saying a lot of the others because they all to each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of like a weird space for me because everyone wants me to talk about the cosmic clock and the cosmic egg, but I've kind of moved on from that. I want to have the chat we had today, the spiritual stuff, the deeper occult stuff, right? So it's nice when I can get on a group like this group with people who are not afraid to go there, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And not just talk about the nuts and bolts, but actually get into the fine tuning of it.
I think we also enjoy it when, you know, you can just sit and have a little chit chat, more or less, you know. So also with you, Josh.
Yeah, it's really nice, mate. It's really nice to reason and almost bring the truth out among 5 or 6 of us. How many there are? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, is it? 7 people. Good number. Yeah, it's brilliant. I love it. It's really nice.
Listen a bit more to you, you know. I mean, maybe not quite so much with Nicolas, but Flat Earth Dude, me, Patricia, and Astral, we talk masses to each other. You know, we that's why we like when people come onto the channel, because we want to hear what you've got to say.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, when Josh starts making videos, he's going to be blowing people's minds. I mean, he blows my mind every day with like the decoding that he's doing with words and letters and numbers and language. It's, you know, it's like when someone says something to you and you just see it and you're like, wow, how did I not see that before?
Like the word memory, you said it a lot today.
Yeah.
Memory is memories. Memories is
My memoirs.
memories. You want more of them, so you have
Yeah.
pictures on the wall. For an example,
Yeah.
memories, and it's just simple words like that allowed me to open up my mind to the deeper words, which we'll go into eventually.
Yeah.
Big
Like one of my favorite ones is physical. We always use this word physical. Phi cycle. Right? The phi, pi, mathematics. Right? It's the matrix.
Mhm.
Right? The decoding of the matrix. So all things physical. If you understand the physical reality around you, you can decode the pi, the maths, the coding.
And we need to defy ourselves from the phi, which is the phi cycle world we're existing in now. So we break that chain like Neo did in the Matrix, and we become programmers of this reality. Program is pro, as in for, because pro and cons, for and against. G is the god in Freemasonry, or the god of this realm, the program. And the RAM is the ram's head, which we know in our computer program, and it's the memory, yeah? So you have pro, G, RAM, literally translates to for God's computer. And that's why we're programmed with these programs.
So to put this into context, I know a lot of people will be watching this will be saying, how does this affect me in my everyday life? Like, what do you mean decoding the program? A good example is by understanding how the matrix work. Josh, for instance, has no road tax on your car, do you? Road tax? You don't pay road tax or anything?
No, my son's got no birth certificate. He's not registered in any way. We still manage to travel around every country we need to.
The police don't stop him anymore with his road tax or insurance or anything. He doesn't have any of that. The police don't stop him anymore because he's broken the matrix on that.
What you need to realize is everything in the Matrix has a reason. Our surname, if I can quickly give anybody a shortcut, is an surety name to do with commerce. We're existing in commerce land, taken over by pirates, hence the 322 skull and crossbones that we see on the skull and crossbones, sorry, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we've been given our surname as a contract with the businesses. And the businesses is keeping us busy through busyness. So that contract is the surname, and we are creating contracts verbally with businesses every single day. The police are policy, the politicians write the policies, and the police act upon the policies written by the politicians. But our surname is the only thing that we say that creates the contract. So if we just have God's name or the Christian name that we were given in the Bible, hence why Neo in the Matrix is called Mr. Anderson by the agents in the Matrix. And when he breaks free from the Matrix, he says, I'm not that, I'm Neo, which is your Christian name, your first name, because the surname was invented for commerce. And the lands we're existing upon now are just controlled by the business. Hence why the film, for example, Lego movie shows Lord Business as the devil, because we're just in an area of commerce controlled by busyness. And it's time for us to move out of a control paradigm into a creation ourselves. And I personally believe, because everything Martin is speaking of, I understand, overstand, I get, and I feel like the language now is something that needs to be broken through, which I've been trying to do, but we do need to reach out to other beings because we all need to do this together. Like, I'll say something now that will spark you in your sleep, and I guarantee tomorrow the words that you'll be breaking apart because of this conversation.
Because here's a scenario for you. We're all talking about 2020, and I don't see why, if 2020 does happen and all those things happen, and they do create a one world order, I don't see why conscious beings like ourselves here can't create our own country.
We can.
Our own country with our own laws and our own policies, where we do things our own selves, an independent, sovereign state from the one world government state.
All we don't have to do is contract with the government, because they govern your mind. And until you free your mind, you're governed by their mental.
So this is where all that is going, in saying that, it'd be nice to think that if we can understand how all of this works, how this language works, maritime law, how etymology works, these spells they're casting, and we can manifest our own reality, our own bubble, even in this realm. Those who are staying here, we're going to be here during that shift or during that age of the one world government. I don't see why we can't have an independent state like Switzerland is today.
You just don't have
Switzerland is a neutral state. Switzerland is
does not have ties to any organizations. So why can't we have a new Switzerland, a new sovereign state of conscious beings who do things their own way? They have their own money, they have their own currency, their own whatever you want to call it, or system. It doesn't have to be money. Their own system that is away from the one world government system.
Called love. It's just love. Selfless giving every single day, just like a tree. You know, the tree gives its fruit as we will give our fruit, and you're giving your fruit, and it will just be perfect harmony of abundance because love is there. And that's all that needs to happen. We need to, if this is not happening, because we aren't factual, we're here theorizing, then we need to make steps for our life, you know? And we don't want to be a part of a system, and we don't want to be a part of any rules and regulations. We just want simple things in life, like great food that's not messed with by anybody. Full-grown food that allows our photonic energy, our DNA, everything to open up the full capability and enjoy our experience here before we choose to move on, you know? And we don't want to waste it by... If we go to that thing with Neo in the Matrix at the end, where he sees all those TV screens and the God program at the end is saying, you're going to do the same thing again. We don't want to be doing the same thing again as we've done before. We actually want to win this game. And we want to win this game to get our wings. And that's why wings is spelled W-I-N-G. You win this God program to get your wings. And that is when you become the angel of light again. You know?
Yeah, conquering our demons. And again, you know, he's saying he's got nothing registered, you know, his son's thing's not registered, his car is not registered, and he's not hassled. I've done something similar. I had a debt. I think I've mentioned this before. I had a 20 grand debt, a business loan that I had from the business that I had before my journey. And I wrote a few letters to HSBC Bank, 3 letters, using the right etymology, the right language, the right code. And they basically sent me back a letter saying, okay, we've canceled the debt. You don't owe us anything. We'll call it a day.
Fear is put out there, but
and that was it.
Truth.
I never heard from them again. That was 2 years ago. So they literally wrote off a 20 grand debt after I sent them a couple of letters saying, I do not owe you money because of this and this and this and this and this and this. And if you continue to hassle me, I will take you to court because I now understand how this works.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, we'll cancel the debt. And they closed my account. And that was the end of it.
UK is a registered business on Companies House, and everybody in the country who has a surname is working for that company. And that is why when you go to a work or a place of business, you can't smoke inside. You have to abide by their rules, and they're silly rules, but you have to abide by them. And it's the same with the country's acts and statutes. They're just exactly the same as going to work. You have to abide by this country or this job's business rules. And the ones that aren't free are the ones that are abiding by business rules, you know, and that again is the trap in the mother's tricks, the matrix, because if you get trapped into that world and you don't see or resonate with the truth, then it's not your time yet. And you need some more growth. And you must go through that until you're aware. And yeah, we'll make a video of this. I don't want to keep transitioning from too much, you know, but yeah, we've got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have you back.
I'd like to hear from you again.
Great.
Sorry,
Awesome.
Flat Earth. What were you saying, Flat Earth dude?
No, we'll have to have him back for the whole sovereignty discussion.
Yeah, I mastered that. I studied that for about 12 years. I figured out it was pretty much a trap, all this Freeman stuff. But
Right.
going full circle over everything is just your surname, is the contract with everything. And if you're strong enough to not break into the fear, you're always
Right.
going to win. You're always going to win. Never break into
That is
fear.
so key, man. The fear.
The fear is the manipulation here. It's either fear or love. And if you love, you know that God has given you, and you are him.
Yeah.
I love that.
How can anybody manipulate you, especially a government that was created as an idea by man? Because man is stronger than the idea because he created it. So how can a government tell man what to do? He can't. We are the people in power unless we allow it to govern our mental. You know?
Excellent. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, he also sounds a little bit like David, doesn't he? Our David Geometria, who's called Indigo, and he's into the law of the land.
I was
And
going
he
to say.
talks like you, Josh.
Yeah, you just got to be careful because the law of the land, the law of the land will trap you as a freeman. But as people, beings of God like us, we're trying to free ourselves from all constraints. We are just us, and that is it.
Because what we figured out is there are different laws. You know, there's common law. There are legal laws.
Commercial laws.
There's commercial laws. There's admiralty law. There is even natural law. Those laws are, if you try and fight those laws with those
antagonists, like you
won't win.
You just bounce.
You won't win.
Like you can't go to court.
You've got to trump all that with the most high law, which is spiritual law.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing trumps spiritual law. No. So once we understand spiritual law, forget common law, forget freeman law, forget law of the land, forget all that. Those are constructs. You will not win those.
No.
You will not. They will beat you every time because you're playing by their rules. Spiritual laws, no one owns that. No one can ever own spiritual laws.
You can't summon an alive being. And summon is summoning the dead, and you only get a summons, which is an invitation. You just need to look at the wording. Summons is an invitation. It's your choice if you want to go to court to play the game.
Yep.
And as playing the game of court, if I got arrested, I've never given a name, and I know I'll be released after 23 hours, but then it's my choice to use my information against them because they unlawfully kidnapped me without my will. So now that is a crime. So that officer, or the off-icer, but we'll get into this, has created a crime against me through his man. So I would then tell that man that I'm going to take him or his body to private court and to full capacity of the law for kidnap. And that's like 15 to 20 years. So do you want to quickly speak to your officer to check before you get charged with 20 years in prison for unlawful kidnap against me? And this is how we got to present ourselves to these beings, because they don't have a clue what's going on about anything. They don't even know the role of their job. So we need to be virtuous every time we have interactions with the policy, because they're unaware.
Yeah.
And we just need to present ourselves as higher beings to these people and allow the process to happen. But then you go through personal growth, seeing that if you just didn't contract, you're out within 23 hours, then you're left alone because they don't want you blowing the lid.
And that's a really important thing about going to court. A court is what?
Jordan Maxwell.
It's somewhere you play a game, right? So the moment you enter a court, you've lost.
Straight away.
You've lost. The moment you step foot in a court, you've lost the game.
And you hire a solicitor. If I was to solicit someone.
So you don't even enter the court. And this is where a lot of people have gone wrong. Mm-hmm. They go to court thinking, do you know what? I'm going to go speak the language in the court and I'm going to beat them using this language. You will not win.
No.
You will not win. They will beat you every time because it's their court. It's their game. It's their playing field. You're in a way. You're not at home.
No. And every time you hire a solicitor, you are classed as dumb.
So you never go to court. You never say anything. You have the right to remain silent. If you remain silent, the most they can do is put you in a cell for 23 hours. After that, they can't do anything to you.
Exactly. And then you know that your name is the contract and you're free. And then you have the inner standing, overstanding, and then you are free from the mind control of that paradigm. And then these are steps we take every single day to ourselves to free ourselves from the mind. It's great. It's amazing. It's an amazing journey that we're all getting to go through, and to be able to bring more and more of us together now. It's the time. It's the time now.
And it's not about fighting the system.
No.
We're not fighting the system. I've got no intention on fighting the system.
You rise above it.
We're trying to create our own system.
Truth. Love.
We're trying to create our own system and not to fight the system. I don't want to topple any systems or fight the government or fight anyone. I have no intentions of fighting with anyone. We are just trying to create our own paradigm, our own system, our own reality, our own natural laws, and even our own man-made laws if we need to. Our own legal laws that are more just and more virtuous and fair to everyone.
Everybody. No man should work. No man should have a job, let's say, because job in Hebrew is persecution. The Bible tells you this, you know?
Yeah.
So the land will work itself. And this is why man has been sent to labor, because he's not using God. God grows itself. God provides everything in the world for you to eat, to work for yourselves. But people have been trapped in this matrix, you know. But that's why the wording's there for us, like the word properties. It, like I was saying earlier, properties is propertize, and you are propertied to your house. And that is how you see, in the house, how you see the world from your window. And the reason why it's propertized is because you stay in the same place and never leave it. You return home every night. And then nothing changes.
It's a prison.
You live in that Groundhog Day.
It's a prison.
It's a perfect setup. Also, you're getting fluoridated water. You're having to pay for everything in this house. And really, if you just acquired a bit of land, how many people are talking now? 7 people. If we put £10,000 in together, we could buy £70,000 worth of grazing land, which is probably, I don't know, 10 hectares of land. And we could do that together. And we could have maybe 10,000 people on there as a space, but this is not relevant. And that there, we could plant 150, 200, 1,000 trees ourselves. And in 5 years' time, we'll be living in our own little Eden with truthers that we love, creating new information every single day, raising ourselves to a bar that maybe then we'll know what we got to do. But we need to join forces together, because the word together itself spells to get her, and we know Mother Earth is her.
Yeah.
So we do need to do things together, and
Yeah.
we all have our part to play. So it's time to unite. It's time to unite all of us.
Yeah, I think for me,
Great.
the overriding vision is 50 years from now, the seed that we can plant collectively, you know, those of us talking about all of this stuff, in 50 years from now, if there is a one world government that is controlling the whole world, at least would have planted a seed where maybe a independent country exists in this realm.
Unknown to the commerce world.
Unknown to the common, even known to the commerce world.
But even
A free land, a free no man's land. That land will not belong to any government organization. It will belong to the people. And then I think as we shift through the Bronze Ages, because remember, we're shifting through ages, and that shift is not a light switch. It's a gradual shift. So I think this is the natural order of things. Eventually, we'll start off as a field of people with common interests. You know, I think Ubuntu is trying to do that as well. Michael Tallinger.
Yeah, he's done well.
Yeah, same concept. Exactly that. It will then become a community. It will then become a city. It will then become a country. Eventually, it will overtake the whole world. And maybe 1,000 years from now, the whole world will be modeled based upon the seed we're planting now. There are no quick fixes. So everything starts with the seed, start with an idea. We're trying to break the matrix, but you have to break the matrix one step at a time because of the ages and because of how time works and everything else.
And we must remember it's our matrix. You know,
Yeah.
we've all got individual ones, and us speaking, obviously our matrix is very similar, you know. So everybody else has their own role to play in it.
Yeah.
So we need not worry too much about everybody, because they're gonna learn off the people that are lower than us, you know.
Yeah.
So it's time for us really to get to correct, like you were saying, collaborate with the beings of higher minds to create a higher hive mind.
Yeah.
Which is the higher consciousness again, which will then have the monkey effect upon the rest of the higher minds, which will create the new era of love.
Absolutely.
It has to start from us. We're not going to wait for anybody to change it for us. Because that's probably what we did in our past life.
Because what the elites want us to do, they want us to fight them for the system.
No.
They want us to fight, and which is what they want us to be saying. We need to remove the Rothschilds.
They want us
We
to
need to fight the Rothschilds.
Allison dynasty, don't they?
Yeah, but we shouldn't be fighting with anyone.
As soon as
we should be building our own.
If you was a 20-year-old boy and you were in the matrix really deep, and then all of a sudden this got wind, you know, and there was people never working, and they were always happy, and every night they were having fires and doing what they enjoyed together collectively, you know.
Playing music around a campfire with a guitar.
I wouldn't say lots of things, but
playing music,
having your shishas and stuff, and getting out there and really getting deep with each other and just enjoying, you know, the vices of life. People will naturally fall to that.
Yeah.
People do not like working, and as soon as you go to work, this is why it's called work. It's war with the K. The K is your 11th letter again, which is the L evens, which is the twin pillars. So you go to work to have a war in the mind. So that's why when you go to work, you're always there going, I shouldn't be here. I should be somewhere else. The time, this and that.
It's my holiday.
It's designed that way for us because we shouldn't be working. We should be learning every day.
Learning, exploring,
not trapped in a property or at work. So we need to free ourselves from those things to allow our consciousness to grow. So if we're not free from those things, then it's time we make our steps to manifest freedom for beings like us. And this is where the field will come into play, the food, everything. Because we can't eat food from the matrix, because the matrix grows 3 mineral food.
They're turning it into plastic, aren't they?
Yeah, and it's only grown with 3 minerals. If you add sea salt to your feed of any plant, you get 103 minerals on your spectrum. Sea salt is the most important feed you can give to any vegetable, any plant, any type of cannabis, anything in the world that grows from the ground. The sea salt is the best mineral feed for anything to grow. Remember that, everybody, and get growing. Plant your trees. Plant.
I'll remember that for the future then.
Yeah, of course. Just best, you know. I can't remember where I was going. My thought processes are too fast.
Yeah.
Amazing thought, Josh.
The reality as well, the word itself, realities, yeah, it's real, ties, yeah, and I is a number of the subconscious. So reality is a subconscious tie. So the conscious world that we are projecting is controlled by the subconscious thoughts that we have. And our subconscious thoughts have been created by the matrix. So it's only when you're out of the matrix you can allow to have free new thought forms that you've never thought of before, which then creates and programs a new reality for ourselves. Does that make sense?
Can I just say that somebody in the chat room, I know that we're slowly finishing here, but this person, Philip, he just wanted to say, ask Martin Common Law, have they applied for the claim of the live Sestu QV Act of 1666? I think I said that right, just about.
Has who done that?
You.
No, and we're not going to. Because once again, you're playing their game. When you're applying, you're begging, you're asking them.
You don't apply,
you don't apply.
Join, you don't create, you are gone from their game. You get a letter for your door. It's a piece of paper. You get a man to your door. Are you this person? No. Who are you? It's none of your business. And a person legally defined as a corporation, if you want me to get really deep, and I'm not a corporation, I'm a man. You can see me, I said right in front of you.
So it's not about applying for anything. It's about
realizing
claiming
your divinity.
Claiming this. We're claiming this land because of this reason.
Right.
And this is how we're doing it.
Everybody's missed out on this. When you go down the road, you see Bovis Homes on the side, right? And there's a big sign and it's just a field, right? That sign stays there for a while because that sign there is lawfully claiming that land.
Yeah.
We don't know that, the busyness world.
Yes.
So they've claimed that land lawfully by putting a sign there saying,
putting a sign.
All we have to do is do the same. Or we speak to the councils and we ask the councils.
No, we tell the councils.
We tell the councils we want to see their land through freedom of information and which part of land they own. The council is not a man. The council is not a deer. Unless you bring the man called Southampton Council, then this is our land.
Yeah.
And you can't present me a man called that because no man owns it. It was an idea by man created by business.
And this is why gypsies get away with taking over land, but they never get arrested.
But they don't know.
Yeah, well, I have a, sorry to interrupt. I have a question here, also in regard to that, because I heard that if you take a piece of land and, well, fence it off, for example, and no one says anything for 7 years, then you can rightfully claim it.
Yeah.
Now
it's yours. Yeah, it's yours. You don't need to wait 7 years. But that's a law for citizens and persons again. But we're not either of them, are we? We're not even human beings legally defined, because a human being is a monster. And if you look at the word monster, it's somebody that's not actually inherent to any land and has to pay taxes. So we've got to be careful the words we speak with these people, because they're casting spells unknowingly with our language against them.
Going back to the words.
And then we're casting spells that put us in prison. That's why we have prison sentences, because sentences is what we spoke to get ourselves in this prison. And prison is to pry the sun, which taking away the sun and putting him in a box, in a cage. So no, we don't need to engage ourselves with anything, if that was the question, was it?
Apply for the SESQ.
No, nothing at all. You don't need to apply.
The moment you apply, you're now in court.
You need to realize your divinity. You're divine. You're a part of God's vine. You're divine. You're a part of the divine program. And as long as you're self-aware, it's happening for you. And you just got to find the truth.
So it's breaking the fear, but it's also getting the mathematics, the mother's matics in the right. So if there are enough people manifesting what we're talking about, right, it's harder for the system to push back because there's enough code within the system. Enough people know about it, enough people are aware about it, enough people are casting these words or these spells, so the system cannot, it overrides whatever they want to do. But if it's just the two of us who know this and we're going to fields today, it's going to be a lot harder because it's us two against
Nothing. You know?
Yeah, there's no togetherness. There needs to be, the more togetherness there is, the more this manifests.
I did this to myself. I moved away to another country. I had a nice house, 7 bedrooms, lots of land, planted 120 fruit trees. My little boy was out there about age 1, and my partner's there, and it was too hard because we eat plant-based, ITAL, grow our own fruit and vegetables. It was too much, but I grew enough and cooked enough for maybe 10 people every day to eat. So if there was just maybe 5 couples like us, we could all eat ITAL, we could all have a beautiful land, and we can all do everything we want to do in our hearts with maybe just 5 families or 10 families, but we're not doing it, and we're all existing separately. All we need to do is, if we had 20 people now with £1,000 each, right? 20 people could, £20,000 could get you 5 acres of grazing land. Why aren't we on this grazing land together now with a big fire talking? Why are we separate? You know?
And yet we'll use that money to go on holiday to Greece for a couple of weeks.
Or to Disneyland for
or to Disneyland.
My brother paid £10,000 for a holiday to Disneyland for 1 week, you know?
Yeah.
We need to just be wise with what we're doing, and it's gonna come. So this injection right now is the spoken word. It's been spoken. So this will
manifest,
create thought forms right now, and that's how we create every day. You know, every day. It's by who we meet, and we need to bring out the God in everybody, because you can either bring out the devil or the God in everybody you meet. Even if they're not sentient, you can still bring out the God in people.
Yeah.
You know. So it's up to us how we get our responses in this physical realm, because everything is energy, and depending on your response or your words will create an energy reaction in another form of energy. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we just got to start. Especially me, I've been doing this myself.
Well, energy flows where attention goes, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's up to us. This whole game is completely up to us. We shouldn't point fingers at anybody because it's just a game.
Yeah.
You know,
no one to blame but ourselves.
No one to blame. We've created this. Thought was the original thought, which is the subconscious, and our language is subconscious. And I'd like to leave this with you, maybe, because I might be going in a second. But our language, this is fact, and we'll get you the facts, but our language is written forwards and backwards. Our subconscious never lies. Our subconscious speaks in reverse. If I was to tell you, this is fact, that children as young as 3 months are speaking to you in reverse. All you need to do is play it backwards, and you'll find out your little child is at 3 months is in daddy up, or mummy up, or love you, or hungry, or I'm tired. And these things are spoken, and I've done it. In fact, I have it on my phone record. There's a man called Professor David Oates, who was the leading specialist in this, and nobody's taken any notice. So if I was to say to you anything right now, and you played it backwards, our subconscious blips every 9 seconds to 15 seconds. So if I was selling you a car, for example, and this is how it works, and I said to you, this car's amazing, you asked me some questions, and I was lying to you, my subconscious would tell you in reverse. You'd hear all this. You'd hear, don't buy the car, and that's how you'd hear it. And this is how people mind read or have empathetic responses to other people, because the subconscious is coming through to our subconscious, and we're having that understanding. We just haven't married our conscious mind with our subconscious mind to have full awareness. And this is the lion down with the lamb in the Bible, that representation. Once we've done that, we have full awareness of everything, because we are everything, and everything is all known. There's nothing that isn't known. We just haven't remembered it, as in reconnecting with that pathway of neuroactivity, you know? It's very deep when you go into that because it's so real. And this is why when I say I love you, it's we're evil here, yeah? Backwards. So if I kept telling my son I love him because I really love him, what his subconscious is getting is we're evil here. So really, people think it's an evil thing to say you love backwards sometimes, or love is evil because it says.
Oh no! So you're saying I love you, and they're hearing evil. You're evil. You're evil.
No, they're hearing we're evil here. If you say I love you, it's we're evil here. So basically, every time you tell your son you're loving him, he's hearing we're evil here. So it's almost giving him a chance because you're so loving to see his world.
To tell him that it's all fake. It's all a matrix.
So as we're speaking forward, we're actually speaking backwards to the subconscious. So we'll get into this, but this has a massive role to play in changing reality. So yeah, but that's very important. Professor David Oates, please have a look at him. Please have a look at him. Not many people are paying attention to him, but this is a part of the world that people are not getting.
Yeah, and even basic words, you know, the word live backwards is evil.
Mm-hmm. So
alive is
alive. Live, evil A.
Evil A, alive, yeah, evil backwards lived is devil.
And to be lived obviously is the devil because you've existed here, and this is the devil's paradigm. So once you've lived, you were the devil, and now you're not because you're God. You understand? Yeah. So our language is very, very important. It's written forwards and backwards, and the backwards language never, ever can lie to us. So the truth is hidden backwards, and this is why, for example, your chakras. Yeah, are we all aware of chakras?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the chakra colors obviously is the 7 incandescent colors of light, which is in the rainbow, which is the Ra in bow. And this is where you have a brain because B is 2, has 2 hemispheres. It's the B, Ra in. And our chakra system here, we have yellow, orange, and blue. Okay. Sorry, yellow, orange, red. Yellow, orange, red. That spells your, okay, from the first letter of each word, your. Center is green, violet, indigo, blue. You have your, G, vibe, okay? Your, Y-O-R, yellow, orange, red, G, V-I-B, violet, indigo, blue. It's your G vibe. G backwards, green backwards is near G. So we know that the aurora borealis is the green light near the center. Our heart is the center, which is the green chakra near G. G is God. It's the center program. It's been written backwards for us every time. But we'll get this presented because at the moment, it's too up in the air for people to see the whole. We need to give you like 150 words at once. Yeah. To allow people to see that this is real, you know, because people would just pick this apart and go, yeah, you can't do that, you can't do this. But yeah, we'll present very soon many words for everybody to see, to start breaking down and then maybe helping us with the words because I've been stuck on them for a long time.
Sounds very interesting, that's for sure. Brilliant stuff. Can't wait.
So crack on, right?
No, I've got to go now, innit?
Yeah. It's been great speaking to you guys. Thank you for my first chat.
Oh, thank you, Josh. It's nice meeting you.
It's nice meeting you.
And as ever, Martin, brilliant. Thank you so much, and thank you for explaining everything like you did. It's brilliant. Nicholas?
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, cheers, Martin. Cheers, everyone.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you, guys. Really enjoyed it.
Awesome.
Have a great night.
Oh, that was great. Thank you so much.
Cheers. I got to go as well now.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Cheers.
All right, guys.
Guys.
Bye.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for coming on for that hour.
Karen. Cheers, everyone. Cheers, Astral. Cheers, Patricia.
Thank you.
Cheers,
Thank
everyone.
You,
Bye.
oh. Wow.
Big sigh. That was fantastic. Josh is wow, it's just going to be very interesting. Let's just put it that way. I love all that kind of stuff. I just love it.
Well, we will ask him to come back, won't we? And he will come back soon. Anyway, guys, we've been talking now for 3 hours. So we're probably going to end this hangout now. I hope everybody enjoyed that. And we're back on Thursday with a ladies' night. So thank you, Martin Kenny, and thank you, Josh. Thank you, Flat Earth Dude, Patricia, Astral. Thank you, chat room. Mwah. And see you Thursday. You're going to say goodbye, guys?
Yeah, goodbye. And thank you, everybody in the chat. And thank you too, Karen. Thank you too, Flat Earth
Yeah.
Dude and Patricia.
Thank you, Karen, Patricia, everyone. Astral. That was great.
Well, just before we
Amazing.
go, I saw the
Thank
video.
you.
The video that you sent me earlier on, the link. It was a brilliant video. The only thing was you weren't in it, Flat Earth Dude.
You know, there were my camera was in it.
No,
Because I was talking to you
you weren't.
that day. You remember that day, yeah?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So yeah,
we got an interview with him as well, didn't we? We did.
Yeah, yeah. You did have a nice long one with him. He hung out with you guys for a while. It was great.
Thank you, Flat Earth Dude.
You're welcome. Yeah, that was really. It was a well done piece. Very positive.
Do you want to just say what you're talking about?
It was a Flat Earth documentary that this guy Jared put together. His brother's Sean Dawson, and he did a Flat Earth piece with him, and it got like 20 million views or something. Or he has 20 million subscribers. And then this new documentary came out, and it's getting a lot of legs. I'm sure some of you in the chat and everybody have seen it already. And it was, but it was good.
Just so the only thing that was missing was you.
Well, there's a few of us missing. My partner Dan, he didn't get in there either, so he was in it, but he didn't get to talk. That's okay. They asked me if I wanted to chit chat, but I was too busy, you know, doing what I do with you guys here.
You're a star and everything to us.
Yeah, I prefer to hang out with you guys. But no, it was a good piece. I'm glad we got to do it. I'm glad that it is getting well received, and everybody seems to like it. It's really good.
Brilliant.
I got a helicopter coming. I'm going to mute.
Okay. Anyway, we're going to leave in a moment, but I did hear Patricia say something. Patricia's been there. Patricia.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello, my darling. Did you enjoy that?
I did, yes. It was quite weird because as Martin was just saying things, the same word popped up in my head. It was quite spooky, actually, but lovely. It was good. Yeah, and I just want to say while I'm here that I hope everyone's okay and that I love everyone. And yeah, I can't wait for the next hangout.
Yeah, you're in it, that one, and you're not allowed to be muted. It's ladies' night.
Oh dear, not again.
Is that when's that, tomorrow?
Thursday.
Thursday. Okay. Cool.
Anyway, thanks for that, Flat Earth Dude. Hope you had a good
Thank you, guys. Oh, it was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, brilliant hangout, and thank you everybody in the chat room. And back Thursday. Mwah!